Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It is Friday, February 9th, 8:48 a.m., and we are here back on the market open. This has been a hell of a week. I don't know if there's any better words to describe how this week has gone. It's been one of those weeks we've been waiting for a very long time, and it kind of all came at once, even though we thought it would come within sprints, but it's all been here. And it just kind of makes you laugh in terms of how crazy this week has actually been. Palantir right now in the pre-markets is $25.14. We have busted through the $25 level. As you can see, my voice is cracking as I'm speaking because last night I lost my voice. And that's why this week has just been insane. I mean, I'm sure you can hear my voice. That's why I was a little bit late. I was just clearing up my voice before we got ready for the market open. I didn't want to sound ridiculously bad, but it is what it is. I mean, look, this week has been so crazy. I tried to call my girlfriend last night and we couldn't be on the phone for more than 10 minutes because I could not talk. Like, I have just lost my voice talking about Palantir as it absolutely has gone insane. So right now we have Palantir at $25.07, up 2.38% in the pre-market. It's pretty insane. We've got a lot to talk about. We're going to see how it ends up playing out. Bitcoin is $47,545. We also see Bitcoin mooning. And as a result of Bitcoin mooning, one of the companies I have a stake in, Cleanspark, up 23% after hours. We're going to talk about their earnings. Their earnings were phenomenal. Management had a just incredible job in terms of how they explained everything going on. And then we got Palantir at $25.08, up 2.33% on the day. Now, the reason why the stock is up right now, and we're going to explain why the stock is up right now, is not just because there's momentum for Palantir, but because of some pretty exciting macro news that we're going to discuss today. Thank you, everybody, for being with me here today. Let's get started for the market open. DJ, Pang, Mark, Wealth Basic, Alex, Biconic, JC, Miami Ren, David, Martin, Casey, Real Baby Pluto, Shem Pasta, Gift Magic, Kathel, Broccoli Bob, Gerald, Franz Baker, Adam, Nuno, Jason, Hyperion, Swagnor, Faloco, John Stevens, Bay Ray. Amid my whole Palantir position is at risk with covered calls expiring today at 26.5. Oh boy. I know a lot of people put on some covered calls this week for 26 and did not think it would get there. And quite frankly, today we'll see what happens. I don't know if we're going to hold 25 because there's a lot of sell side pressure there. We'll talk about that, but it is still absolutely insane. Ray, Nutella Sandwich, WAF, Prado Man, Damien, Belly Pork, Justin, Simba, Tesla, Billy Bag Donuts. Amid, I'm here. We can start the chat now. Billy, we couldn't start without you. You brought the donuts, so now we can start. June, Tristan, Basti, Joe, Christopher George, good morning from Toronto, Hoshin Wang, Martin, Eric. All right, let's get started with the market open. First of all, voice will be cracking throughout this stream. I have collectively streamed for, I think, 72 hours. Not literally 72 hours, but you know what I mean? Like for the past 3 days. Past 4 days, because today's Friday. So it's been a long week. I love it. I'm excited for it, but my voice definitely will not be the most pleasurable to listen to today. The jokes I make will still sound good because those jokes are very funny. So regardless of how my voice sounds, you will enjoy the jokes, but just know that it will sound a little raspy. So you will be, still laughing. You're just going to be laughing at someone who sounds raspy, not at someone, with someone, because the jokes are, with me, not at me, I hope. All right. So there's so much to talk about. There's just so much to talk about. We'll start with Palantir. Let's talk about what's going on with price action on Palantir. I want to talk about the catalyst for why this is happening right now. And then we'll get further into Bitcoin, Cleanspark. And we had Pinterest earnings yesterday. We had Affirm earnings yesterday. We had another company that reported yesterday that I'm forgetting. But Pinterest and Affirm definitely reported. Affirm tanked the bed. And I'll talk about what the sentiment is on fintech right now. Then we'll talk about Pinterest and overall how narratives are playing out in the crypto universe, AI universe, semiconductor universe. We have a bunch of breaking news in regards to AI and chips as well with Sam Altman. So we'll talk about that. All right, Palantir. Right now, we're at $25.12, up 2.49%. We are up 52% for the week. Why is this happening? There's a couple reasons for this. Number one, I believe the narrative around the market right now, across the world, we have 1 million shares traded in the pre-markets. We had 200 million shares yesterday, 220 million before that, 420 million 3 days before that. Why is this happening? The market is seeming to consolidate their understanding of where the alpha is going to be. That's why we're in the market. We want alpha. We want to buy something and sell it for higher than what it is right now in the context of AI. Why do I say that? If you look at the S&P 500, we are at 499.99. Now, we were at 500 just 10 minutes ago before I started the stream, as I'll share right here. And the reason the S&P got to 500 is because of two things. A, because the AI narrative is continuing to hold up, but B, because of the macro. Why is Palantir busting through 25? Because the United States December CPI just got revised. Last month, we had CPI come in at 3.4%, which was above 3.1% just a month ago in November. Headline inflation actually was revised, and we only grew 0.2%, not 0.3% month over month, which means headline CPI was 3.3, not 3.4. Now, 3.3, 3.4, what's the big deal? It's a very big deal in the context of the Fed because the amount of data that is amalgamated into creating the actual CPI report means that there was a lag in that data, and it came down from 3.4 to 3.3. That's the only reason we had a revision on the data, because obviously there was a lag and we needed to have time before that lag took into effect, which is why we got the re-rating. If we go to trueflation, inflation is only at 1.37% for the past month. And as a result of that, you got to start asking yourself, well, okay, the S&P is at all-time highs. The S&P is touching 500. Inflation's coming down. And there is a massive narrative around productivity, AI, semiconductors, and where the market is going to go. You put all those things together, and you easily get a Palantir that is breaking through not only their 52-week highs, but their previous daily highs every single day. Think about this. Palantir has made a new daily high for the past 4 days in a row. Now, I will give the bear case to that, and we'll talk about why that's likely very euphoric, and it's going to be, in my opinion, just hard to keep it going. But let's just assume a utopia where this keeps happening. S&P keeps going up. Inflation keeps coming down. Tech stocks keep seeming like an attractive buy. There is no reason why Palantir should not continue to go higher outside of a broad-based sell-off. Now, that broad-based sell-off, in my opinion, is actually very likely. I think a lot of people in the chat here would agree that the S&P at 500 to start the year, right now we're exactly at 500 in the pre-markets, doesn't make that much sense given earnings were good, but earnings were not, earnings did not blow out the park for a lot of these companies. NVIDIA earnings probably will, but outside of NVIDIA earnings, a lot of these companies, they grew well, but it's not like they're growing 30% year over year or some ridiculous number, but certain segments of their business are. So Microsoft, they're not growing 30%, but their Azure AI cloud business is growing 30%. And so the market's kind of grappling right now with like, okay, so the parts of Microsoft we care about, not the Xbox part, not the Microsoft Office part, but the Microsoft cloud part is growing at pretty good rates, but the overall company isn't growing. So do we give it a $3 trillion valuation or do we not? Palantir's government business sucks, but their U.S. commercial business is up 70% year over year. Do we give them the premium because eventually the government business will come back? This is the stuff the market is dealing with. And so far, the market has decided they'd rather give the premium than not give the premium. And that's why Palantir is up right now at $25. And this is, this is the exciting thing about what's going on in the world of Palantir. Now, Benny says the continuous climb in the market will lead to an even bigger fall. I can't necessarily disagree with that. I think a lot of people here are thinking this is, well, I mean, put it in the chat. Let's have a little, discussion. What do you guys think? Is Palantir's price? I asked this on Twitter yesterday. Actually, this will be very interesting to look at. I asked this on Twitter yesterday. Is Palantir's price getting frothy, or do you still think it's undervalued? And we had 2,500 people vote. So it's a pretty good sample size, I would say. Most of my followers care about Palantir. So these are people that have a vested interest in at least hopefully trying to be a bit more objective about the stock price. And these are the results that we got. It'll really shock you. I asked, is Palantir overvalued or undervalued at $24 a share? I want to know what you guys think right now. At $25 a share, is Palantir overvalued or undervalued? That's the question. Here's what the Twitter audience said. 50-50. I mean, 53-46, right? But I was thinking this would be 80-20 one way or the other. 53% of 2,500 people believe it's overvalued. 46% believe it's undervalued. Now, what are my 2 cents? My 2 cents are, yes, a 52% run in 3 days is a lot, but the market wants AI. When a company like ARM can get $40 billion of market capitalization increase within 3 hours, then maybe the market has fundamentally shifted the narrative that is permeating how these fund managers are allocating capital, how retail is deciding to allocate capital, and ultimately how Wall Street wants to be able to decide what companies get the premium. The market is chasing profitable AI companies that will actually grow as the overall AI spend by companies grow, and obviously that's Palantir. So it may see a natural pullback based on the macro. I think that's very likely, but I don't know if it's necessarily overvalued. If companies like SMCI are up 150% year to date, if Snowflake can have a $70 billion market cap, why is Palantir necessarily overvalued? Now, obviously, there's a very easy reason to say why Palantir is overvalued. Look at the price of sales, you look at the profitability, you look at the fact that the market cap is almost $60 billion. They've only done $200 million in profit. How could the street be giving this much of a premium to Palantir? Well, it's because I think the street is more about narratives than they are anything else. Now, as we're speaking about narrative, think about fintech. Think about fintech. Right now, Affirm is down 9% in the pre-market, and Affirm beat on revenue. For those that don't know Affirm, it's a buy now, pay later company and one of the leading buy now, pay later companies. They beat on revenue by 70 million. They beat on EPS, I think, by 40%. They raised guidance for revenue next year by about 30 million in the next quarter. Stock's down 9%. Max Levchin, the CEO of Affirm, the founder of Affirm, was on CNBC yesterday, and he was irate. He could not believe it. You know, when they asked him about his stock price, he literally just looked at them and was just like, you know, it seemed like he wanted to curse people out. He was just like, I have no clue why the market is not giving us the benefit of the doubt here. We did what we had to do. We performed, right? This is what you're supposed to do in the market. You're supposed to get rewarded if you perform. Affirm right now down about 7% in the pre-market. And the reason I believe the market did not give him the premium is the same reason the market did not give PayPal the premium. PayPal right now is green by about 1% in the pre-markets. You are not allowed to short PayPal today. If a stock goes down more than 10% the day before, there's a SSR rule, which means in the markets, you have to stop sort of the bleeding, at least, you know, in the short term. And, you are restricted to short for the next day. So I think the reason PayPal was bleeding as well is because there's no narrative to fintech. And it's actually making me a little scared about Robinhood, as bullish as I am. Next week, Robinhood up 3% in the pre-markets. And we'll talk about why Robinhood's up, because it's still a fintech. Now, I think Robinhood is a differentiated fintech in terms of what the narratives are. But my point is, there is a narrative around Palantir. And that narrative is something we have been talking about since the stock market price Palantir at $6, $7, $8. That narrative is now being discovered by Wall Street. And if that narrative is now being discovered by Wall Street, well, you know, you got to really ask yourself, does the street have a different narrative that they need to be able to go with? And right now, I don't think that narrative necessarily exists. Perry says, admit your question needs to be narrowed. As a short-term investor, long-term investor, is Palantir overvalued? Short-term, yes. Long-term, absolutely not. I think I would agree with this as well. Short-term, it's probably overvalued. $25, 50% move in a day or in 4 days is a bit much, right? I think we can all agree on that objectively. But long-term, it's not, right? I mean, long-term, does it really matter if you buy at 15 or 25, if you believe the stock's 250? Probably, like, or even if you think the stock is 100, 150, does it really matter if you bought it at 15 or 25? Like, yeah, you would have picked up some more shares, but in the broad scheme of things, if you were going to buy 2,000 shares at 15 or 25, there's not that crazy of a difference. However, entry price does matter in the short term. And in the short term, I personally do think we're seeing a bit of frothiness here on Palantir. And the reason we're seeing that frothiness is because the narrative has shifted to AI. Now, I am one person. The market is a system of buyers and sellers. And so far, the buyers have agreed against the sellers that the narrative associated with Palantir and companies like Palantir, particularly companies like that are rooted in the AI space and that are profitable, deserve the premium they're getting. I guess the question is, how much do they deserve that premium? And so far, we don't know, but we're going to find out as the market opens in a bit. So that was the core thing on Palantir. A couple other things on Palantir. We also had two deals that come out yesterday. We had the Bahrain energy deal that came out. That was a good one. Then we had the Voyager deal, space. That's a memorandum of understanding. So that's not like an official deal, but that's basically like a, hey, we're probably going to do this deal where Palantir's AI and Foundry is going to be integrated into Voyager, the company that deals with space. I don't know that much about Voyager. I thought they were the crypto brokerage, to be honest. I was like, Foundry for crypto? Are we making a comeback? What's happening? But it's a different company. So we got two deals yesterday. That was great. We also, I don't think I showed this on the market open yesterday, or maybe I showed it for a brief moment, but Palantir made the cover of an iconic magazine called Time. For those that don't know Time, this magazine has been around for a very long time. I remember about 10 years ago, my mom actually had a subscription to this and we would get it delivered to our door Time Magazine was bought by Mark Benioff, a CEO of Salesforce, for about $190 million. And now it's free. There's no paywall. There's only ads, so anyone can read these articles. They wrote a 21-minute article yesterday about Palantir. The title is "The First AI War: Palantir and Other Tech Giants Are Building the Future of Battle in Ukraine." Time accesses a different audience. You and I may go to YouTube for our content and enjoy, the new age of how we engage with media. There are many people in the world that have a lot of money that read things like Time. They read the Wall Street Journal. They read the New York Times, right? This is the type of media they consume. They don't really care about YouTube or Twitter or things like that. For Palantir to make the front page of Time and to have a 21-minute article where very wealthy people, I would argue, are reading that article and understanding, where they can allocate their capital in order to get an AI play, and they're looking at Palantir at $25, it's kind of just like, well. And so the media coverage is compounding. There is an S-curve of media around Palantir just as much there is of growth, which is going to be incredibly important in terms of the stock price eventually starting to go higher and doing what we need to do as well. So very, very exciting in the world of Palantir. Okay, we'll get back to Palantir as we get to market open. We have 26 minutes until we get there. Thank you, everybody, for being with me here today. It is Friday, February 9th. It's been a hell of a week. Let's talk about something else that happened overnight that I didn't expect to happen, but when I woke up, it got even crazier. Bitcoin is back, baby. 47,498. And I actually have the reason for why Bitcoin is back, which I'm going to explain in a second. But Bitcoin is back. Well, and I mean, it's back until it tanks again. But right now, it's back. So it's exciting to discuss why it's back. As a result of Bitcoin being back, if you are in the Bitcoin mining stocks, and let me know in the chat if you have any of the Bitcoin miners. I have Cleanspark. That's the decision I made about a month ago, or almost 2 months ago now, and I was very excited to get into this stock because to me, it had the best operational efficiency out of all the other Bitcoin miners, which was Cleanspark. The reason why Bitcoin is up right now is because of this picture. The inflows into the ETF have exceeded the outflows finally since January 26th, 2024. So as you can see on the extreme right-hand side of the screen, as you can see from January 22nd to January 25th, you see these red negative numbers. This meant that there were negative 2,000, negative 2,000, negative 4,000, negative 2,000 Bitcoins in terms of overall inflow going into the spot ETFs. There's 12 of these ETFs. And then you have Grayscale Bitcoin Trust. GBTC has been seeing massive outflows because they've been around for a while. And so people have been taking profits and you've seen outflows from them. They don't really need to buy as many Bitcoins. The other ETFs like Fidelity, Bitwise, ARK, Franklin, BlackRock, etc., they've been buying. And as you can see, since January 26, we're in the black. Every single day, there's been an increase of almost 2,000 to 4,000 Bitcoin being gobbled up by these ETFs. And when these ETFs are gobbling up all these Bitcoins, well, these Bitcoins are being taken off the market. Obviously, there's more buy-side pressure. There's only a limited supply of Bitcoins. Just like for Palantir, there's only a limited supply. Now, Palantir has 2 billion shares, which is why you need hundreds of millions of shares going in volume in order to get the price to move up. Bitcoin, you have about 19 million in circulation, 21 million total. Some of those, I think there's some crazy stat, like a majority of those Bitcoins are lost. And so there's not that many Bitcoin to find. And so when you have an asset that has increased demand over decreased supply or limited supply, obviously that asset is going to increase in value. Now, the question around Bitcoin when it went to 49,000 before the ETF was released and then fell back down to 38,000 was, has the run already happened for Bitcoin? Has the pump, has the momentum, has the people, the euphoria, the institutional investors already come in and gave Bitcoin the premium, given this asset was about 15,000 in June of 2022. And it seems like maybe a lot of momentum did pile in, but a lot of those people that piled in didn't end up selling. A lot of them are holding. And the more attractive it gets, the harder it is for a lot of these assets to continue to stay down because there's just more people that have demand for Bitcoin. If we go to the crypto companies in the watch list we're seeing right now on the left-hand side of the screen, as you can see, everything's green. So Cleanspark's up 25%. It's at $13.18. We'll talk about Cleanspark in a second. Coinbase is up 8%, 143. Bitcoin, 47.5. Ethereum, 2,500. Riot is up 10%. Marathon is up 12%. Hut 8 Mining up 13%. This is a company that had a disgusting short report published on it, them and Marathon as well, about a month ago. And, as Bitcoin goes up, a lot of people stop caring about those things because these assets go up as well. Iran is up 13%. Cypher's up 14%. MicroStrategy, $628. This was a stock that was 400 to start the year, 400 in December, got to 727 January 2nd, fell back down to 490, now at 628. I mean, it's just been an incredible run for a lot of these companies in the crypto space. Bitfarms is up 9%, and Robinhood is up 2.5% at $11.50. And so that's why we're seeing a lot of momentum in the context of Bitcoin. Jeff says Amit needs to buy one Bitcoin to push it over 47,600. Apparently I didn't need to buy the 1 Palantir share to push it over 25, but if we get back down to the 24.99 range, we'll have to do it. And so that's why we're seeing momentum in the context of Bitcoin. Now let's talk about Cleanspark. Cleanspark is the company that I have options on. And I believe, this stock can do very well if Bitcoin goes up. It's up 25% right now. My options are for a $20 strike. If it goes to $20, I'm going to 5x my money. That's how the options work in terms of the spread I have. And I'm going to make a decent amount of money. Now, look, do I think it's going to go to $20? I don't know. And it's kind of like, all right, do I get out of it or do I leave it be? But when Bitcoin starts running, from my understanding, it becomes irrational. And even though we have dips along the way, like we went all the way down to 38,000, we're back at 47. If you believe in the long-term bull thesis of Bitcoin, which to me, Cleanspark was just a bit of a gamble. I think it was a calculated gamble though, because I do believe this year after the halving event, when the Bitcoin reward for mining in supply cuts in half, which means that there is less inflation of Bitcoin. It's one of the only assets that actually, instead of inflating 1.8% a year in supply, it goes and inflates at 0.9% a year in supply. I mean, that's just an incredible concept around Bitcoin. I believe that makes it more attractive and the demand increases. And we've seen that in the charts over the halving events over the past 10 years, Bitcoin always continuously goes up. If that's the case, Cleanspark will go up as well. Now, why will Cleanspark go up? Because they're a Bitcoin energy miner, and they're the most sophisticated, vertically integrated energy miner, in my opinion, that exists in the market, primarily because they invest in literal clean energy. That's why their name is Cleanspark. And as a result of that, they have the most efficient mining process. It costs them $14,000 to mine a Bitcoin, which is the cheapest cost. Obviously, if Bitcoin is at 47,000, the delta is what they keep in terms of their spread. Now, here is what they reported yesterday. Revenue, $73 million. Revenue growth, 165% year over year. Obviously, Bitcoin went up, so their revenue went up. Net income, $25 million. Adjusted EBITDA, $69 million. Total assets, $862 million. They are mining. Their mining hash rate surpasses 12.5 EH per second. And here you go. You've got a company now that is saying, well, wait a second. If we are growing 165% year over year and Bitcoin gets anywhere near 60,000, even after the halving event, when Cleanspark's reward slices in half because of the mining rewards, they will still have the most efficient way to mine Bitcoin. And because Bitcoin's price will be higher, it won't affect their margins. I believe it'll cost them about 23 to 24,000 to mine a Bitcoin after the halving event. And if Bitcoin's at 60, 70,000 or 50,000, it'll still make their margins in line, which will be very good for Bitcoin. So this is why Bitcoin is exciting right now, and this is why Cleanspark is going up. Now, look, here's my thing on Cleanspark. If you're thinking, oh, should I YOLO into Cleanspark right now? Should I buy Cleanspark because Bitcoin's going up? My advice is absolutely not. On a day when it's up 25%, you do not YOLO into anything. I think that's just how it works, especially something as volatile as Cleanspark. The reason I'm saying this is because Cleanspark fell down pretty badly over the past week. I mean, over the past 2 months. I mean, it was at $13.56 at the top in December. And then it fell all the way down to $6.34 on January 19th. Now it's back to $13.11. So the odds that this could fall again or this could be more volatile are very high. The odds that you FOMO in and you are left holding a bag is also very high. So I think when it comes to this, you want to wait for a better entry if you want to get into this. And you also have to deeply understand the thesis. The thesis is Bitcoin. So you have to deeply believe Bitcoin will do well, because if not, these companies will not do well as well. So that's going to be very interesting to see kind of how it plays out and ultimately what happens on Bitcoin. Benny says, Amit, thoughts on Jesse saying to not own options on miners? I agree. You probably shouldn't own options on miners, especially because miners are so volatile. Owning the stock is just fine. I've got some options when it was a bit cheaper, so that's why I bought the options. And to me, it's a little bit more of a gamble. So if it does really well, then it does well. If it doesn't, then it doesn't. But yeah, I would agree. I think just stock on the miners is fine because they're so volatile, the options, and the pricing on the options might not be the best if you want to get into it. Let's look at Mag 7. We are up with all of the Mag 7. Apple is up about 1%. Microsoft's at 416. I think that's an all-time high. Yeah, there you go. All-time high in the pre-markets on Microsoft. Meta's at 473. That's close to all-time highs. Google, 148. Google was left for dead After the earnings, I did buy the dip on Google at 139. Google's back to basically 150 where it was right before earnings. So let's see if it can continue that momentum. Amazon 171 going back to close to all-time highs. Nvidia $706. I can't believe I'm even saying that. And then Tesla is at $191. And that's why we're seeing momentum in the context of Bitcoin. ARM, that's a good question. Tosh, what are we talking or what can we expect from ARM? ARM is down 5% in the pre-market. Makes sense after you go up $40 billion in market cap in one day. ARM went from $78 billion to $117 billion. It went up 50% in stock price. Why did this happen? Because they have a very low float. A low float is just how many shares you ultimately have outstanding in the company. Now, they have 1 billion shares outstanding, but the majority of them are owned by SoftBank. And SoftBank is eventually going to dump them on the market. There's founder lockup from the IPO, so those are going to get dumped eventually. But as of now, there's 93 million shares in circulation. You've got an entire market that is thriving, salivating. They're hungry for AI. They're hungry for chips and semis, and they're very hungry because they missed the SMCI run. SMCI now up 150% year to date. SMCI is $706 in the pre-market. SMCI and Nvidia are both $700. It doesn't make any sense. SMCI $40 billion market cap now. Nvidia is a bit more than Amazon, or basically right at Amazon at 1.72. So 1.72 trillion. So when you've got a company like ARM that was only at 78 billion, and the market's like, well, all these companies are at a couple trillion. Why don't we just bump it up a little bit? And there's only 90 million shares in circulation. You get the irrational exuberance that I believe is ARM in the context of SMCI and in the context of ARM as well, continuing to go up. Palantir, we are at $25.18 in the pre-market, 2.73%. My thoughts on what's going to happen as the market opens. It's either going to go up or it's either going to go down. Thank you for coming, and I hope you enjoyed the show. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, like, dude, at this point, I don't know. I really don't know. When it was at 20 4 days ago, I was like, I think we could crack 21. When we got to 21, I was like, all right, we just need to crack 21.85, and then boom, we're at new 52-week highs. We got to 22. We're at 22. I'm like, you know what? 23 is the year of Michael Jordan. Alex Karp is great. Michael Jordan's great. And maybe they could just come together. And then boom, we get 23. And then yesterday we spent all day trying to figure out, can we get to 24? Can we get to our Kobe era? Can we get the Mamba mentality, ice blood in our veins? And we ended up doing that as well. Now, as we break through 25, we're getting to being a quarter century old. And, you know, when you're 25, your back starts hurting. When you're 25, you start to, you know, it's a little harder to wake up in the morning. And so maybe Palantir takes a little bit of a breather, given that obviously at $25, it might be getting a little tired from how much it's run. Or maybe it's like me, where when you turn 25, you want to go harder and harder and harder to get to that 26, and we end up running. I don't know what's going to happen today. It's going to be very, very exciting to see what happens in the market open, but it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun to see. Just Jellyby says, do you think it'll dump to 15? Here's my thing. I think it can absolutely have a correction, and I think it is absurd to think that Palantir cannot have a correction from here. We all know it can correct. Like this price action is ridiculous. It is redonkulous. It makes no sense. It is flabbergasting. But we all got our shares when it was much lower, so we don't really care, right? it's just like, well, we have pretty cheap shares, so you know, let's just get. This is my thing. It's like just enjoy the party. Let's just enjoy the party. See how far it can take it, and if it does pull back even to $20, it's up from 16. The purgatory of 16 we've been stuck in. Here's my thing. I don't think we get stuck in purgatory anymore, right? I don't think we get stuck in limbo. I think the narrative has fundamentally changed. The profitability has changed. There's a lot of things that have changed. And if those things have changed, then it's just harder for me to imagine that Palantir is going to be in such a tough position to get back to that $15 level. Now, I do want to say this. Let me make this very clear, because I think a lot of people that cover the news, especially a stock when it ends up running, don't say this. And I think if you don't say this, you are probably doing a disservice to your audience. So let me say this right now about Palantir. If you want to sell, please do not, let me say this. Let me look in the camera. If you want to sell, please do not think that this is some movement we are going up against in the context of the hedge funds. This is not GME. This is not AMC. This is not buy to keep the stock going higher and higher and higher. This is not a meme stock. It might be behaving like a meme stock, but this is a company defending Ukraine. This is a company whose software is used at the highest levels of the military. This is not a meme. So if you want to take profits, there is no movement here. The movement is over the next 10 years, hopefully Palantir becomes one of the most important software companies in the world, and we get to have a hell of a journey all enjoying it together. But we are not sticking it to the man. I want to make that very clear. So if you want to take your profits, if you want to shed a little bit off the table, do not feel like you're doing a disservice to the broader community. We are all a community, but this is not GameStop in 2021. Shyam Sankar sold 537,000 shares yesterday. And shout out to UBS Financial Services, dude. That bank got this guy a $25 average on his shares. Remember when I said there was a big wall at $25 and it's going to be really hard to overcome it? Yeah, it was Shyam Sankar's wall. There were 537,000 shares waiting for his financial brokerage to just dump it onto the people who are willing to buy his shares. Now, to my understanding, this was a scheduled sale. So obviously, the stock could have been $8, the stock could have been $25. He would have had to sell. But the point is, management is taking profits. Okay, so if management is taking profits, even if they're scheduled or not, I don't care. It is not ridiculous for you to take profits. Remember what I've been saying all week. You are either the schmuck that is buying Palantir at $25 from someone who's willing to sell to you, or you're the schmuck that's selling Palantir at $25 to someone who's going to end up flipping it at 30 and you could have made more profits. The only difference is one of those schmucks ends up holding a bag. The other schmuck is just a little jealous, but they have some money in their bank account. Real money, not paper money, real money because they took profits. So my thing here is that at the end of the day, if you want to sell and the market is giving you a ridiculous price they're giving you the exit liquidity that doesn't make any sense, quite frankly. We can all agree. I think Alex Karp would agree that, he even said his company was overvalued at one point, right? So, Karp does believe in the long-term potential, but in 5 days, going up 50%, adding $20 billion to your market cap, you could argue that is irrational exuberance, even if you think there is still fair value to the company. So in the context of that, when it comes to Palantir, I do think just don't get caught up in the fact that you need to hold forever. I'm holding because I don't want to sell until 2030, right? I've made that very clear. That is my position. And that's just how it's going to be. If it goes back to 16, I'll buy more shares. If it goes to 20, I'll buy more. I just don't care. But for someone who needs to pay their rent tomorrow, for someone who actually needs the money, this is not the worst thing in the world. And I just want to make that very clear because a lot of people won't say that. They'll say hodl forever. And that's not how you make money, right? If Palantir went to $100 today, I think a lot of people would sell. So going to 25 is also very exuberant as well in the context of Palantir. Mike says, I made $20,000 with my options. I'm not selling my stock. I'm in at 11. I don't mind holding. Yeah. I mean, look, if that's the other thing. If you have a great average, I also think you got to think twice before selling because will you get that average again? That's something you got to think about. Even if we get a 30% retracement, a 50% retracement, and you're still in the money because your margin of safety on your average is so phenomenal, then you have to think, will I get that average again? And that should guide your decision-making. But please just don't act like we're sticking it to the hedge funds. That's not it. Palantir's a software company. They're a phenomenal software company. The street didn't understand them. Now the street understands them. Price action is a bit ridiculous, but this is not something where you just have to hold it, in spite of something. You should hold it because you want to hold it and because you believe it and you're willing to hold it through the dips over the long term, which is my mentality in the context of Palantir. Or as Arnie says, you don't want to pay taxes. That's another reason for not selling Palantir. Shem Pasta says also market sentiment will change and the stock can go down for other reasons that are outside of the company's control, which then becomes a buying opportunity. 1,000% agreed as well. Sven Visuals, thank you for the 50 euro super chat. Big thank you for all the hours you give us. It means the absolute world to me. Look, obviously, being part of this community over the past week has just been insane. This is something that I started doing in November 2021. I found a lot of interest. I told the story of how I got interested in Palantir yesterday. I don't know if you guys were here for it, but I did philosophy in high school. I did debate in high school. And the first thing you learn when you study philosophy is about the concept of ontology. Put in the chat if you've ever studied philosophy at all, Immanuel Kant, etc. And when I saw Palantir on their website in November 2021 say, the name of our product is Foundry, which is the central operating system for your enterprise. It is the ontology of your data. I was so enamored by the fact that they're using this philosophical word. And obviously my philosophical, debate mind started taking off. And then I just started listening to Karp speak. And I'm like, oh my God, this is a different company. And I bought in at 32 at my first price. And then we started DCAing. And then I didn't know I would go to $6, but it ends up happening. And at that point, I get really excited about the company. So thank you all for being here on the journey. You don't have to send super chats. I don't want your money. I'm just so grateful we're all here. I'm playing the long game on YouTube. I am not trying to immediately make a quick buck. I'm trying to be here for years. And to be here for years, you've got to build a legitimate audience and an audience that actually finds value in you. And you have the privilege of getting their attention every day. And so that's what we're doing here. And that's why we're exciting to be here as well. Tired Gain says, I'm pretty tempted to sell. I have a share price of 2050 and I would buy back in on correction. But what if it doesn't? The future is so interesting with this stock. That is the existential question we all have to deal with being investors in any stock. By the way, Bitcoin right now just below 47,000, 46,930. Let's check if that affected Cleanspark in the pre-market. Yeah, Cleanspark fell just a little bit at 1295, down from 1318 as Bitcoin falls below 47,000. The existential question for any company is, okay, I want to sell because I have some gains. I'll buy back lower. Will it get to the price that I want to buy back at? And no one knows ever. And timing it is very tough. I've tried timing it. Everyone's tried timing different stocks. Sometimes you time it right. Sometimes you time it wrong. Now, look, there's a lot of technical analysts on Twitter that I was looking at yesterday about Palantir, and they think this thing is heading back down to 18. Their argument is that this thing is so overbought and that there is so much selling pressure on the upside, or on the so much selling pressure at this 25, 26 level, that it's going to be very hard for the market to overcome that. You've got Derek in the chat that says, I don't think Palantir will ever see teens again. And so you've got some technical analysts saying, look, this thing's just, it's not easy for it to maintain this level. And then you've got other people saying, I don't know if it sees 19, 18 ever again. And the thing is, you just don't know what's going to happen until it happens. And so the only real strategy is to DCA as it comes down. Now in 2022, we didn't know it would go down all the way to 6, which has left a very sour taste in people's mouths. But at the end of the day, this is a company that people want. There's liquidity for this company, and obviously people care about it. Let me show you guys an interesting clip that I found last night. My boy Nate ended up texting this to me, and I got to show you guys this clip because this clip was crazy. This is a TikTok by some guy named Julian. Okay, he's a TikTok trader, but I guess he's a TikTok trader that's playing with a lot of money. And this is what he showed yesterday in terms of Palantir. At the middle of the video, I'm going to pause it to see if you guys see something special that he said. All right, so here's him on Palantir earnings day playing with Palantir.
Yesterday, I bought $7.5 million worth of Palantir stock at an average price of 16.56, 7.58 million US dollars. And today, Palantir are releasing their earnings. So they're either going to go up a lot or they're going to go down.
The stock market is now closed.
Here we go.
Did you hear that? This dude in Dubai or whatever fucking fancy hotel he's in was listening to the market close on Palantir earnings day. I mean, this is hilarious. Look at this.
Or they're going to go down.
The stock market is now closed.
Here we
The cowbell made it, dude. It was hilarious.
go.
Your shares per day compare over time as well.
Up almost $2 million to 2.53 million US dollars in profit, 32% today. Now I'm going to go for a run and clear my head.
Makes $2.5 million, then goes for a run and clears his head. Goodness gracious. But the fact that our show got to his fancy apartment in Dubai or whatever, and he's watching this shit, maybe he's watching right now. It's just crazy, dude. It's just absolutely insane what has happened over this week. But this is what we've been fucking waiting for a very long time. And now it's here. So it's super exciting for this to be happening. Okay, we got the market open in about 5 minutes. Palantir right now, where are we at? $25.05. I wouldn't be surprised if we dump to $24.80 as soon as the market opens, and whoever's waiting to sell just dumps it on whoever's willing to buy at 25. Or if we blow past 25 and we go to 26. We'll see the book volume as soon as the market opens, and I'll give you guys an update on the walls that are there. This is what happened yesterday. If you're not following me on Twitter, please follow me on Twitter. I think you will enjoy the content. You will enjoy the updates. And if you care about Palantir and you don't have a Twitter account, just make a Twitter account and use and follow people for Palantir. This is what happened yesterday. I wasn't live. I decided to stop going live after like 3 hours of being live in the morning. But this is what we were live tweeting. Okay, so we had a wall at $25. This wall right here, as you can see right here at the bottom, 178,000 shares. So I tweeted this at about 1:32 p.m. Okay. Then at 1:40, the wall became 190,000 shares, meaning 190,000 shares were waiting to be dumped on whoever was willing to buy it at 25. And then suddenly, 4 minutes later, the wall disappears. There's no more wall. It's gone. It's like magic. Abracadabra. Pooey. It's gone. And then we hit $25. So that wall was eaten up. There was about 200,000 shares waiting, and 200,000 shares of buy-side momentum came in and ate up all those shares that were waiting to be sold. Apparently, a lot of those shares were Sham Shankar shares, who literally sold 500,000 at $25 average. Incredible average his brokers got him. I mean, his brokers were probably staring at it tick by tick, just like us, and they got him that average. But then we hit $25. My question today will be, how many shares are waiting at $25.50, at $25.60, at $25.30, and what will the momentum be in order to actually break through that $25 level? And we will see, where it ends up happening and how it ends up going. And so we'll see. Maybe eating up, maybe swoop sale. Yeah, there's a lot of manipulation with these dark order volumes. Look, I don't have access to all the biggest, fanciest data. I have access to, what I see on Robinhood. So it could be manipulation. It could be random. It could be spoofing. There's all the crazy stuff the market makers do. But there was indeed a lot of resistance at 25. It was fighting at 24.93 to 24.99 for a good 30 minutes until the wall finally disappeared and it allowed us to break through. So we're going to see what it ends up happening today. All right, we've got about 2 minutes until the market opens. And then we'll see what happens. Bitcoin, Cleanspark. If you got the miners, this is going to be a very exciting market open as well. Robinhood's going to be exciting for the market open. We'll talk about my preview on their thoughts going into next year or next week. SMCI is at $710. Like, it does not make any sense. Nvidia's at 705. It makes sense because the market wants AI, but it also doesn't make sense because now it just feels like the market is chasing. And Palantir kind of feels like a derivative of that chasing because it's associated with AI. I'm sure a lot of people don't even know what Palantir does, but they know it's part of AI. And that momentum ends up being good for the narrative of the stock. You got a stock like Affirm that had a great quarter, but there's no narrative. PayPal, great quarter, disgustingly undervalued, but there's no narrative. You need a story. The stock market is all as psychological as it is empirical and numerical. And Palantir has a story. And it's a very, very exciting story in the context of Palantir. Bayray says, my covered calls at 26 are scaring me a bit. Yeah, dude, I've been saying for a very long time on the channel, covered calls on Palantir is tough to do. Unless it's a ridiculous strike. Like $40 in June is paying you like 60 cents a share. It's absolutely insane. And today the covered call premiums for July at like $40, $50 strikes are going to be even more insane. But 26 to end the week. Look, I would agree with you. It would have been good at $20. So what's the chances it goes to 26? But now it might get there. And I don't know. We'll see what happens. But look, you're going to need a lot of buy side pressure in 10 seconds to get this thing to go above 26. And I'm just so grateful that all 1,480 of you are here with me on this morning, February 9th, 9:30 a.m. You could be in a lot of places. You're here with me. Let's see if it ends up happening. Ladies and gentlemen, the stock market is now open. Wake your ass up. Stock market's open. We see a nice little dump at 24.85. Palantir still up 1.25%. So there is the wall that is forming at 25. A lot of sell side pressure. Let's give it a couple seconds because Palantir tends to sell off really quickly and then ends up kind of just going higher as it, deals with some of the initial pain that it has to go through. So let's see how the market ends up reacting to this. My Palantir call options, by the way, are up 20% today. And I'm waiting for it to load and I'll give you, there you go. We're back at 25, up 2% right now on Palantir. 24.97. It's teetering a lot. I'll tell you what my call options are in a second. But it seems like they're up. Yeah, they're up. Yep. They're up about 20%. Now they're at $1.37. We paid 76 cents for them back in December. So Palantir obviously up 2% on the day. That is helping a lot. 25.09 was the top that we just achieved. And it came right back down to 24.93 on Palantir. We're seeing where it goes from here. 26 covered calls might be in jeopardy. They might not. Let me check the order book volume on Palantir right now. Okay, 24.94. We have a pretty clear path to 25. There's not a lot of resistance that I'm looking at in my guys. There's actually a very clear path to 25. Like what I'm looking at, there's no this is just buying and selling pressure now. We just need a little bit more buyers, but 25 should absolutely happen. I mean, look, I don't have the best data in the world, but the data I'm looking at, there's no insane walls that are stopping it. There might just be a lot of sellers here, but I think 25 could happen. I think 25 absolutely could have happened. I think 25 could indeed happen today. Now we're at 24.85. We'll get back to it in a second. Let's look at some other stocks, but let's keep it going. Bitcoin above 47,000, SMCI 712, Nvidia 704, Cleanspark $12.95. They were up 23% of the day. It looks like they're surging past 13. Look at that. Look at Cleanspark. Look at that bad boy run. She's running. Oh boy, my Cleanspark options are up $3,000. Let's go, baby. 1322. Cleanspark options are up 26%. Let's go. Not bad on Cleanspark. So we're seeing some decent momentum there. 1330. Wow. 26% on Cleanspark. Bitcoin 47,000. Palantir 24.89. It's still struggling in that 24.90 range. PayPal's up about 0.21% on the day. S&P 500, 498. Robinhood is up about 2%, $11.43, 1.87%. IWM, the Russell, needs to break out, and I think it will break out once large cap starts rotating, but that hasn't happened yet. 196 right now for the Russell. 820 on SoFi. There you go. Breaking over $8. SoFi's finally getting a little bit of momentum, up 1.21%. Let's take a look at Mag 7. Wow. Meta, 472. Microsoft, 415. Apple, 188. By the way, that Vision Pro, it is taking people on a new galaxy. People love the Vision Pro. I was a bit skeptical on it. I haven't used it yet, but it does indeed seem like they have captured the attention like Apple is able to do so many times with new products. And that thing might end up being a success. NVIDIA, 705. Tesla, 191. Even Tesla's green. Amazon, 171. Google, 148. Let's go to the crypto stocks. How is crypto doing? Crypto is green across the board. MicroStrategy up 7%. Robinhood up 1.65%. Bitfarms up 8%. Iren up 14%. Hut 8 Mining up 12%. Cleanspark's up 27%, $13.32. And look, that earnings, they deserve it. Management on that earnings call was absolutely exceptional at explaining their business, answering the hard questions. I had zero issues with how they were being transparent about what they're going to do about upcoming challenges. I think they deserve it. Bitcoin, 47,000. Coinbase up 7%, 141. Coinbase topped at 178, bottomed back at around 120, now at 141. Riot's up 8%, Marathon's up 12%, Hut 8 Mining's up 12%, and we've got Bitcoin stocks doing well. Let's go back to Palantir. How is Palantir doing? Did we break through 25? 2494. 2483. We went from 2494 to 2483 in literally milliseconds. This is one of the most volatile stocks in the market right now. 10 million shares have been traded, $54 billion market cap for Palantir, up 1.46% on the day. The fact that it's holding 2490 already is insane. Cloudflare had phenomenal earnings yesterday. They should be up very well. Yeah, look at them. 19% on the day. Cloudflare is guiding for 33% year-over-year growth. If you're a SaaS company and you're growing at actual SaaS growth rates, you end up doing pretty okay. Cleanspark at 27.5%, $13.46 right now on Cleanspark. The market likes it. The market likes it a lot, and they are giving them the benefit of the doubt here with the premium. Now 29% on Cleanspark, $13.50 here on Cleanspark. Absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible. This is resistance last time. So if we break through 1350, which we got 1360 on the top, we can probably go higher, but this was the hardest part to get through back in December on Cleanspark. Palantir 2497, really fighting for that $25 range. Really, really fighting. Okay, we hit 25. You guys said we hit 25. Now we're trying to get it again. Jay Powell is pissed. Yeah, Jay Powell is probably not. Jay Powell literally said, guys, I went on 60 Minutes. I went on one of the biggest shows on TV, and I said, you're not getting your rate cut. And you guys basically just ignored me and said, forget it. We're going to keep buying stocks. There's nothing he can do to stop this train from leaving. There's just nothing he can do. Where's the S&P? Are we at 499? 499.15. Psychologically, we break through 500. Remember, guys, every analyst on Wall Street said 5,200 is the max the S&P can go to. Either we're in a ridiculous euphoric time and March through June is going to be very depressing in terms of the pullback we have because this is unsustainable, or we are going to be Leonardo DiCaprio in The Wolf of Wall Street who wants to leave, and he ends up saying the show goes on and we keep going. One or the other two is going to happen. It's going to be one of the other two, and we're going to find out over the next couple weeks. Palantir 2477. Now it's getting eaten up. Those sell side pressures are just too high at 25. Sell side pressures are just too high at 25 right now on Palantir. Enphase is up 3%. Wow. Enphase is actually up 3%. 120 on Enphase. I think the market's front running the rate cuts. I think they are. Where's the regionals? Are the regionals still crappy? The regionals are still crappy. I have a big position in TFC, regional bank. The regionals, to me, this is all narrative, right? We were speaking about AI and narrative. I personally believe there is not a regional banking crisis in the United States. May a couple banks fail? Sure. But it's not some massive contagion. That's a 2008 type of crisis. Jay Powell said the same as well. Regionals don't deserve to be down at almost 10%, right? But the narrative is there. And that narrative either creates a nice opportunity or it sustains itself, and we don't really see the changing of the narrative until it changes. The narrative around Palantir at $6 or $7 was that it was a spy company. It was evil. Karp was crazy. Peter Thiel is some maniac. The company can't grow. They're a consulting firm. We had our beautiful friend from the Bear Cave, who I did a debate with live on the channel back in June of 2023 when the stock was at $9, who said they are an AI imposter. This AI imposter is up 400% since then. And this AI imposter is defending Ukraine, is on the cover of Time magazine. It's getting $100 million contracts from the DoD. It's growing 70% US commercial year over year. It has 34% adjusted operating margins, has 84% gross margins. I think this cat's out of the bag. It's not an AI imposter anymore. But what does the valuation end up becoming as we capitulate in the next era of Palantir? That's going to be the question over the next few months. Palantir will move once the S&P includes it. Yeah, I mean, that's the other thing. We have S&P inclusion on the horizon. That's the other good thing about Palantir in terms of catalysts. We have a $1.5 billion Titan contract coming up, and then we have the S&P inclusion. Now, here's one thing I will say. Just because we have those two catalysts does not mean the market gives it additional breadth if the market feels like it's already gone up too much. We've seen this happen with Tesla, right? We've seen many times they have a catalyst like the Cybertruck, and the market pumps a little bit, and then it just falls back down because the market's like, well, you're a little bit already, pricey. So in the context of Palantir, we really do have to wonder, will the catalysts actually be catalysts, or will they just be catalysts that are already priced in the context of Palantir? And we'll find out over the coming weeks what ends up happening for Palantir. Sold some today at 25.01. It seems like you got the top. So you and Sham Sanker both got the top. Not bad. Ian says, amid good coverage this week, you set the bar so high. Thank you. Thank you for being here, Ian. I quite frankly, I would hope I have good coverage. I've been studying this company day in and day out for 3 years. Like, it's not a joke, dude. Like, every single day I have woke up and at some capacity thought about Palantir. Obviously, I've made a video every single, like newsletter, all this stuff. If you're not subscribed to the newsletter, dailypalantir.substack.com, free newsletter to subscribe to. It's like you think about a company so much, you analyze it so deeply, and then you feel like such an idiot when the street is not taking the stock price up. You almost start wondering, am I the idiot? Am I seeing these deals and the market's taking it to $8? Am I stupid? And at some level, it did get tough, but it's also like eventually if they put up the numbers, they'll figure out, which is why before earnings, my biggest thing was if they give crappy guidance, we're screwed. And the one thing Palantir needed to do was give good guidance, and they gave some good mother effing guidance. And that guidance finally got the street to be like, okay, this is not a company that we should be disrespecting as much. Now, Palantir is going a little bit red right now at $24.50. Look, even if we fall to $22, let me make it very clear, $21, $20, $19, this has been a phenomenal earnings for the company. The business is doing well, and regardless of what happens to the stock, in my opinion, it really doesn't matter, because if anything, now you know how exuberant the market can get for Palantir, and you get to buy some cheaper shares. I mean, like that's really what it chalks up to. And now maybe we get a new floor to Palantir. It's not that crazy to say we go from 16 to 25, we fall back to 19, and then we never see below 19 again, just like we never saw below 16 when Palantir pumped after Q3. We saw one day of 1567 in the pre-markets, and that was gone within 5 seconds as soon as the market opened. So if we form a new floor, I wouldn't think that's the worst thing in the world. You guys are saying insiders are selling right now. Maybe insiders are selling right now. Maybe that's why we're seeing a little bit of downside. But we're here. But we're gonna see what happens. We're gonna see what happens. When's Derek when you need him? We need to get Palantir over 25. Oh boy, PayPal's climbing. Where's PayPal? What's the next floor? I believe the next floor is 21. That's what I believe the next floor is. I believe if we fall to 21. And call it 2021. That's my range, and I'll keep it there. PayPal's up 2%. The reason PayPal's up 2%, guys, is because there's a short, there's a no shorting rule today. After a stock falls about 10% the day before, you can't short it. So all the shorts cannot keep putting pressure on PayPal, and that's why it's up 2%. So that's why we're seeing PayPal do good. Where's Cleanspark? 1308. Okay, so Cleanspark's chilling out a little bit, up 24%. It's relaxing a little bit. So Cleanspark's okay. Let's see. Palantir options have also chilled out. Palantir options are now only up 54%. They were up like 90% a couple minutes ago. So they have chilled out a bit. And yeah, Bitcoin is still at 47,000. Bitcoin here is still at 47,000. Where's Bitcoin? Bitcoin is still up. Bitcoin right here, 47,130. Truist is down. KRE is down. PayPal's up. Cloudflare is down. Palantir is still holding 2470, dude. It's fine. There's so much liquidity. I mean, it fell to 2440 and it just went right back up 20 cents. There's so much buy side pressure. Let me look at the book volume again and see what we're dealing with here, and then we'll talk about some more Yeah, again, it looks clear to 25. I don't see any walls on me. Okay, so there is 22,000 shares waiting at $25, which is really nothing for Palantir, given the volume that we have. Yesterday there was 200,000 shares, so we should be okay. I think we should be okay to get to 25, but it just depends. We have more buyers versus sellers. SMCI, oh my God, is up another 3%. I don't understand why this is happening. This is just ridiculous. Dude, this is like, does this chart not look like a bubble? Look at this chart. This looks like a crypto shitcoin. This looks like Shiba Inu. Like this just, it doesn't make sense, dude. Their numbers were great, but their numbers were not good enough to add $30 billion to the market cap in 5 days. At least I don't think so. I mean, I guess the market thinks so. Now, remember about SMCI. They only have 55 million shares outstanding. So they have a small float and 5.3 million are shorted. So the shorts are getting wrecked right now, dude. By the way, did you guys know there's a dude on YouTube? He has a channel called Everything Money. He has been shorting Nvidia since $490. He bought in the money puts on Nvidia at like $250, which means as Nvidia goes higher, those puts go a lot lower. And he used his brother's money to do it. He made a video talking about it, how he convinced his brother it was a good idea. And his brother gave him God knows how many hundreds of thousands. And with shorting, you lose infinite amounts of money. Like there's no stopping it, especially depending on the strategy on what you do. So Nvidia right now at 704, they started shorting it around 400. I think a little bit before that, 350. Unless this is a bubble of all bubbles and Nvidia collapses, that's a very tough situation to be in. Same thing with SMCI. This is why I would never, ever think of shorting something like Palantir. Palantir 2484, gaining a little bit of momentum, trying to get back to 25. You just can't short these companies because the narrative around them is so strong. We are in the age of AI. All of these stocks are ultimately a game of narratives. That's it. The numbers matter a lot, but once the numbers are there, the narratives kind of take over. And SMCI and Nvidia have had the narrative just take over. And as the narrative has taken over, these companies have been continuing to going up. He sold naked calls. Okay, so he sold naked calls. Someone told me he bought in the money puts, but he sold naked calls. Yeah, so that is a tough situation. That is a tough situation to be there. Robinhood's up. Where's Robinhood right now? Where's Robinhood? Robinhood. 1145, up 2.045% on the day. S&P 499 trying to get there. Palantir 2493. Oh, wow. There you go. 2493. We're back in the 2490s. Let's see if we can hit 25. Let's see. Selling naked calls is the worst, pure idiocy. Yeah, and a lot of the times, if you're selling naked calls against a company that's doing well, Palantir's trying to break 25, it's because you are ideological about the narrative. And the funny thing is, guys, when he made his NVIDIA videos, or even his Palantir videos, he was bearish on Palantir for a long time in 2022, he always talked about the numbers and never about the deals. And, him and a lot of other YouTubers made fun of, people like me and Arnie talking about Palantir. But me and Arnie were just like, well, we're just analyzing the deals. We're seeing a big ass deal and we're trying to analyze it. And we're trying to figure out, hey, does this deal make sense in the long-term trajectory of the company? And they just thought we were talking about it like it was AMC. The problem is these guys never actually looked at what accelerated computing is or what are GPUs. What does it mean for, data center revenue to increase as a percentage of the compute that is spent? They never cared about those things. They just looked at the financials. And there's a time to look at the financials, but there's also a time to actually care about the narrative in terms of determining where a stock can go. Cleanspark 1350. It needs to break 1350 to get to its all-time highs, or not all-time high, but 52-week highs. By the way, guys, this stock was at 54 at one, or 42 back in 2021. It was at 42, and things have obviously changed since then. But I mean, the idea that it can get there again possibly could happen. So Bitcoin has to go up in order for that to happen, but we'll see. How does Karp say he's going to buy 1 billion shares back and then not buy back? Is that not manipulation? No. So this is a common misunderstanding. Buybacks are done by a company when they feel their stock is undervalued. When they feel their stock is undervalued, they say, okay, let's buy it back. Let's reduce dilution. This is what Robinhood did. They bought back their stock at $11. They bought back 55 million shares because they believe that it's the right thing to do. This is what Google's doing, Facebook's doing, et cetera, right? Palantir only has 3 billion in cash. Google has, hundreds of billions of in cash. So for them to do a buyback means that they genuinely believe at, let's say at $24, they're cheap. I don't think Palantir believes at $24.87 that they're cheap, especially if they didn't do buybacks at $16 or buybacks at $12. So buybacks ultimately make sense when you think the company's in such a stable position. It ultimately sends a little bit of an artificial floor to the stock, not literally, but psychologically. Investors like, okay, if Robinhood's buying their shares at 11, if Facebook's buying their shares at 250, then Facebook, the company, the management, the C-suites, their financial advisors are all like, hey guys, this is the time to reduce your float and buy back your stock and increase your EPS. Palantir's a growing company. They have no need to do that. And there's a ton of liquidity under their stock. So I don't think they need to do that. I think they should keep collecting net interest income on the cash. Interest rates haven't come down. Collect that juicy net interest income off $3.7 billion, maintain GAAP profitability, do buybacks when you're a $100 billion company. That's when I believe they should, not now. But the fact that they've authorized it is a good sign to shareholders. It's just not something that's needed right now for Palantir. Farino says, Amit, sorry, I had to sell some of my Palantir shares. I hope you're not mad at me, dude. A lot of people have been texting me that. I don't care if you sell your shares. In fact, I'm happy if you make a profit. Like this is the stock market at the end of the day. I've been very clear about that. And you'll have a lot of delusional people that will say, hold till the end of time. It's like, no, I took $11,000 in profits from the stock market last year. I was up around 94,000 last year. Okay. So I took 11,000 in profits. The reason I took 11,000 in profits is because for those $11,000, I felt I deserved to see literal money in the bank, not just on paper. And quite frankly, it doesn't feel as real if you're not like seeing the money on paper, so in your hands. So if you had to sell because you think it's getting too much and you want to take profits, you got to do what you got to do. It is what it is, and that's okay. Amit, SMCI, take profits. Analyst high 750, current 730. Look, here's all I'll say on SMCI. I think all of us can agree that this thing looks stupid right now, that it doesn't make sense, and that the market is chasing. The market is chasing at an absurd level. So if I had SMCI at some ridiculous average, $100, $200, $300, $400, I mean, yeah, I would want to take some profits. The problem is if the growth isn't stopping and obviously the AI spend is continuing, then the question becomes, well, why take the profits, right? If it's going to keep going up. But it's kind of a game of musical chairs, right? Like how high can it, if someone's willing to pay you 7x what you paid for shares, at some level you have to think maybe within a year, less than a year, within 6 months, yeah, maybe there's some profit taking that should happen. But I don't know. I mean, this thing could keep pumping higher. This thing could just keep pumping higher. Crossroads says, if we rip like SMCI, everybody should be selling and we should celebrate people taking profits and buying small islands. Yeah, look, if Palantir gets to $100 a share, you should, quite frankly, you should be dumping your shares on someone who's willing to pay you $100 right now, right? Like it just does not make any sense. Remember, January 2021 happened. Palantir was $45 in January 2021. Did that make sense? Being worth $100 billion and losing money? Palantir's profitable now, and they're barely profitable, right? We've made $200 million in profit. They were losing money worth $100 billion in January 2021. And, and I know we can speak to interest rates and stimulus and inflation and all that stuff, but that valuation made no sense. And it's okay, even if you love a company, as much as I love Palantir, to be objective about the valuation. This is what I like about the Palantir community. The Tesla community thinks the thing should be worth $7,000 today because robo-taxis are going to take over the world. They're not as objective as I think the community we built, which is like, let's actually look at the numbers, because the stock hasn't 20x'd yet. And we need to make sure these numbers make sense. It's a SaaS company at the end of the day. It's going to get a SaaS multiple. It's already getting an egregious SaaS multiple, maybe deserved given the premium for AI and, their boot camp and all the arguments, but there's still a pretty high multiple and we need to think of it objectively. So I think it's important to think that. Arnie says, in my opinion, we will crush $40 if AI keeps being this strong. $40 would be an $80 billion market cap. And that would be an $85 billion market cap. And Palantir would be doing $2.6 billion in revenue on an $80 billion market cap. It sounds crazy, but ARM is a $120 billion market cap. Oh, ARM fell today. All right, ARM's down 6%, $109 billion, and they are doing $3 billion in revenue, and that's not even profit. Now, granted, ARM has a much lower float. The only reason I don't think Palantir could do an SMCI run is because SMCI has 55 million shares. Palantir has 2 billion. So you got to remember, this is what I mean by narrative. This is a really, really important point that I'm about to make. Palantir has 2 billion shares outstanding. So the volume, which right now is at 22 million, always needs to be ridiculously high in order for Palantir to go higher. Once that volume dries up, which will it happen? I don't know. Will the volume continue to the end of the year? I don't know. But if that volume dries up, I don't think the stock is able to hold up as much momentum as it has. Why? Because there's 2 billion shares outstanding. Those shares have to be trading hands so many times in order for the stock price to continue to at least have the momentum that it has, when that volume dries up, and Palantir's average volume is about like 50 million, 60 million. We've been averaging 200 million a day. That is what, almost 4x, 3x the average volume. If that stops, which means, this is why I'm talking about narratives. If that narrative, if Palantir just chills a little bit and then we don't get press releases for a while and yada, 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 and AI kind of cools down a bit, if that narrative goes away, a lot of the traders, a lot of the speculators that have come into the stock right now, because I'm sure there's that TikTok video I showed, that guy doesn't know about Palantir. He was just watching my market close and he was just like, all right, let's just put 7 million in Palantir. And then he makes 2 million. He's out. He took his 2 million. He left. He dumped it on someone else who was willing to buy it. Those people will leave immediately if this thing starts dropping. They will take their losses, they will take their profits, and they'll get the hell out. And that's when we're going to see the real capitulation happen. So I think over the next few weeks, as volume dries up, or maybe volume doesn't dry up, we're going to see what actually happens with Palantir. Amit, sometimes when you talk, I forget it's a live stream and got to check if my playback speed is set to 1.5x on normal. The reason, the reason I talk so fast. So there's two reasons. Number one, I did debate in high school, and in debate, you have to speak at 500 words a minute. One day I'll show you guys the videos of me doing that because I have those videos from 2016. Number two, I never want to feel like I'm wasting people's time. So for example, I sometimes watch Meet Kevin's Market Open. I used to watch him in 2021, and he's so slow and he takes his time and he's like, all right, good morning, everybody. NVIDIA's up today. He's so relaxed and so calm. And I think there's a certain type of audience that likes that. For me, I just look like I snorted a line of blow. And that's the energy that I like to give on my Market Open. And I don't know how to have any other type of energy because I'm excited every morning. Even the days where I wake up and I lost my voice, I said I lost my voice. It seems like my voice came back in the past 20 minutes because the exuberance of being live and discussing and just being here is just like, I just don't take it for granted. I want to do this shit for the rest of my life. And so for me, it's like I do a line of blow every morning. That line of blow is probably a caramel iced latte from Dunkin'. I know it's lame. I don't drink black coffee. I don't know how to, but it's enough to get me going. Bitcoin 47,000, PayPal 57.25, Enphase 121, S&P 499, S&P to 500 is going to be absolutely phenomenal if we can get it to happen. Cleanspark falling down a little bit, coming back to earth. $12.73 right now on Cleanspark. Went from 1350. So 1350 is absolutely hardcore resistance, but it is still something that we have to overcome. Here's Dan Ives speaking on Elon Musk. He was on CNBC yesterday. Let's see what he has to say, his updated thoughts on Tesla, and then we'll talk a little bit more about the S&P hitting 5,000. Here we go. Here's Dan Ives on Tesla.
On the EV leader saying, quote, "It's time for the board to change the Tesla narrative with 3 things that need to occur to make change happen." For more, it's the man behind the note, Wedbush Managing Director, Dan Ives. Dan, best dressed man on Wall Street as well.
Great to be here.
It's okay. 3 things. Number 1, create a new comp package that supersedes this 2018 one. What do you want to see?
Look, $40 to $50 right now overhang on the stock because of this. The Delaware situation, I believe they need a comp package to supersede the 2018. Ultimately, Musk gets that package. This has been...
You want to see him get paid?
You want to see him get paid.
Supersede 2018 means more than 55 billion, which is a lot.
This has already been approved by shareholders. Stop the nonsense. And I think this is something that the board needs to act now.
So, I mean, the judge in Delaware, of course, everybody's saying, oh, it's politicized. Who knows? Whatever. But you think the board needs to come up with something new to compensate Elon Musk? By the way, keep him there, keep him happy, and keep that AI in-house because he kind of threatened to walk.
Musk is the heart and lungs of Tesla. Tesla is Musk. Musk is Tesla. And I think that's something that's very, very important at this juncture. Clock struck midnight. Board needs to come out and act.
Also, and it's related to that, the company's headquarters is already in Texas. Mm-hmm. But you think they need to, and Musk has said he may do this, legally move the state of incorporation from Delaware to Texas?
I think it's not a question. They have to. I think not just from a Delaware perspective, you got to move to Texas at the shareholder meeting, put that up. I think the board needs to come out with a statement, and then the Musk 25% in terms of getting Musk to the 25% voting. Obviously, a lot of controversy there, but Brian, it is so important that AI, and we believe could be one of the biggest AI stories out there, AI stays under Tesla, which is, I think it's a pivotal point to make sure that Musk stays at Tesla through 2030 at least.
And your 3 points are kind of in the 2 that we talked about, which is the new comp package the comp package for the 25% share bogey, as you call it, and then moving that state of incorporation to Texas. Generally, what has been the problem with Tesla stock, Dan? What in your mind? Is it BYD threats? Is it interest rates? Is it something else?
I think there's two big reasons. I mean, one, we talked about that call. It was obviously a debacle in terms of the conference call, not putting some line in the sand in terms of the price cuts are done. Investors need to understand that most of that price cuts are done, margins expand from here. I think one, that's been a huge overhang. Two, you talk about overall EV demand, which you talk about, do a great job on the show.
Well, people think
no, but
I honestly, people come at me, but I've been correct. It's not because I'm smart. It's because I talk to dealers all over the country.
Yeah, and
that's it. Tesla does not have dealers, so I can't talk to them to figure out how it's going. I have to talk to you.
And for the Brian Sullivan quote, do they want an EV or they just want a Tesla?
No, I've said I don't want to offend anybody. Teslas are for people that are more tech oriented, that want to be moved around. EVs are for car people.
Exactly. And to your point, this is a pip. Look, it's a moment of truth. This is a moment of truth time for the Tesla story. Show demand is going to continue to be there, which we believe it is, including in China. Stop the price cuts. Let the board come out, show that Musk is there. And at that point, we believe that's worth $40 to $50 per share to the stock.
We had Kathy Wood on last night. She's a $2,000 price target on Tesla.
Look, I believe...
I mean, that makes you look bearish by comparison.
I believe we will at one point in the next 3 to 4 years be talking about Tesla, not just at $1 trillion, at $2 trillion. And I think this is just a moment they need to navigate. But that's why for the board, it's time to act. It's time to set the foundation for the future.
I think Dan is right. I don't know if we get Kathy's $2,000 price target. I think Dan is right. We do see closer to 1 to 2 trillion. I don't know if it's in 2 years, but I think that definitely happens for Tesla. Just might not happen as quick as people think it's going to happen. Where's Palantir? We'll talk about Tesla more in a second. Palantir 24.75. All right. So obviously 25 is giving us a hard time. I think 25, 25 is being like me when I was in high school. Okay. There were a lot of girls that wanted me in high school. And quite frankly, I had to play hard to get because I had too many of them chasing me. And 25 is kind of playing hard to get. Sometimes you can't, just give it up that easy. You gotta show some attitude. You gotta show them that, you don't need them. You really got to show them that you don't need to talk to them for you to feel good about. Like you can show them that you are worth more than what they think they are worth to you. And that's how you get them. And so I think 25 right now is playing around. 25 is like, you know what? We don't need you, Palantir. We really don't need you. And Palantir's stuck in this 24.60 range. And what I see right now, I think they're flirting. But they're flirting with 25 has the upper hand in the flirting. There's always someone who has the upper hand in flirting. There's always a power dynamic when it comes to flirting, right? Someone who's flirting kind of knows they're controlling the dynamic of the flirting. And that's what 25 is doing right now at 24.62. And, obviously I had a lot of experience like that when I was in high school. It's just the girls were, it's just ridiculous. The same thing when I was in college. It didn't stop. Okay. It didn't stop when I went to college. It was worse when I got to college, especially when I got my own apartment my junior year. Then it was just like, it was ridiculous. So I think that's what's happening right now with 25 at Palantir. And I think they're going to be playing hard to get for a little while. And that hard to get is going to, is going to hurt Palantir a little bit more. Arthur Sloan says, I am shorting Palantir now. Too much euphoria and too much gain in the last 2 days. Look, Arthur, the only advice I'll give you is I hope you're doing it via puts versus just naked shorting the stock. Because I get that there is a lot of euphoria. I agree with you as a Palantir bull. But dude, if NVIDIA and SMCI does not give you enough proof that this could keep going, then I don't know what's going to give you proof. So at least your puts, there's a max loss. With shorting, you could lose your whole portfolio. So I would be a little cautious. But ultimately, you have to make your own decision. And so why are you guys putting caps in the chat? What are these caps about? Do you guys like my hat or something? What are these caps that's going on right now? Do you guys actually not think I didn't get girls? Like, put in the chat right now. Do you put a W or an L? W, Amit definitely got girls in the chat. We'll see who are the real fucking subscribers. And then put an L if you think I'm capping right now. I actually want to know, do you guys actually think that I was able to pull in high school and college? Like, I want to actually see the W's and the L's. I really want to see this because I know there's some of you that can read over the sort of nerdy kind of YouTuber persona I have and can realize, okay, Amit knows how to get it. And then there's some other you that might be reading into it. And I just want to know okay, there are a lot of L's. There are a lot of L's. There is a little bit too many L's right here. There's one W. There's literally one freaking W. You were in debate. Come on, dude. Girls like debate. Girls like debaters. That's a thing. They like debaters. I would debate with them. Like flirting is just a debate at the end of the day. You're just proving an argument. Palantir right now, 24.59. Wow, there is so many L's. This is actually sad because I did get. I was able to do well in high school and college. Like like everyone had their misses, but I did well. I'm so surprised you guys actually feel like this. It actually kind of hurts my feelings. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I thought you guys could. We still love you. It's like Niels wins. I was one of the girls. Yeah, at least he was one of the girls. This is ridiculous. No guy that says he gets a lot of girls gets a lot of girls. Oh boy. Well, maybe one day we'll talk about my history. Maybe one day. You guys really doubt me, dude. You guys fucking doubt the kid. You guys doubt the kid. Where's Hims right now? Hims is running past 10. Wow, Hims is up 2.3%. Hims was at 565 in October. So who's in Hims? If you're in Hims, I mean, this thing's running. That's nice. SMCI is now up 5.6%. Oh my God. This was up 3% 10 minutes ago. Now it's up 5.6%. Robin at 1133. PayPal's up 2.3%. Where's NVIDIA? NVIDIA must be running with it. Cleanspark 1240. Cleanspark's coming back down. Palantir's falling 24.45. We'll keep an eye on that. NVIDIA 707 is up 2%. Absolute insanity, dude. Absolute insanity. It's insanity. Win no cap. See, thank you, Danger. You got. Can we ask your mom to confirm, dude? My mom knew. I brought my girlfriend home when in high school, my junior year. Like my mom knew, dude. She knew she knew I had it, dude. Like so. Okay, I'll admit, in high school, I was a nerd. I was a nerdy nerd. Palantir 24.37 right now. I was a nerd. But I was a nerd that knew how to talk, okay? I'm not saying I'm Brad Pitt in terms of attraction and all that stuff, but Brad Pitt is also not Amit, okay? And Amit had a level of confidence in himself that superseded any physical, insecurities or whatever. And that personality was able to get the job done. It really was. It was easily able to get the job done. So this is pretty sad that you guys did not think that. Amit went to prom with his mom. All right, that's just mean. That's really mean. That's very, very, very mean. That's not nice. That's just not nice. It's not nice at all. 24.42. Maybe one day when we'll have a late night stock talks and we're just us chilling. We're not watching this thing go tick by tick like it's a fucking movie. We'll actually discuss my history, you know? Oh, Steve. Okay. Steve, are you watching? Can I send you the link? Let's see if I can get Steve on. Let's see what Steve has to say. Okay, so we're at 24.48. Let's see what's going on right now. Can I get your autograph on Mitt Tit? You guys are hilarious. You guys are absolutely hilarious. Mom, I need you to lie for me. I hate you guys, dude. The funny thing is, here's the funny thing. None of you believe me, but I'm actually fucking not lying. Like, I'm legitimately not lying right now. And the thing is, you guys think I'm lying because it's fun. Like, I'm actually not lying. And it's so funny that you guys all think that I didn't pull because I did. Because I did. But it's okay. It's okay. You guys can all. I actually like that you doubt me, dude. I like being the fucking underdog. I like being Palantir at $6. I like it. I fucking like it. I thrive on that shit. Okay? I love it. But I don't like being Palantir at 24.50 because now I want to get to 25. So we are seeing a lot of sell side pressure here at $25. Let me get Steve on the phone and see if he can give us some clarity on what's going on with Palantir. Let's see if he picks up. Let's see. What's that? Steven Fiorillo, you are live with 1,390 people as we see Palantir at 24.50. I know you released an article today that I'm putting down right here in the chat. That article is from your Seeking Alpha. It is a Palantir article that you told me. How much time did you spend on it?
A good amount of time.
A good amount of time. It is about 5,000 words. I'm putting it in the chat. So we need everyone to click on this damn article and get it trending, because we need Steven to make sure that he has the #1 article on Seeking Alpha. Given you just wrote 5,000 words on Palantir, given you spent 4 days writing this article, and given that you are nice enough to join me on my stream, give me your thoughts at Palantir 2450. What are you thinking right now about the stock?
I think it's the same thing that we talked about yesterday, that this can definitely retrace. And I'm not a short-term investor, but I think that the future really does look bright. And the quarter was just that good.
Meaning you don't care about this price action. You just want to buy the stock right now.
Yeah, I mean, look, like as we discussed, and I asked you what your exit point would be, and I'm not going to say the number; it's not my place to. But let's just say hypothetically, somebody has an exit number of $60. Okay.
Wait, hold on. Why are you guys saying he's gone? You're saying Putin got him. You're not talking about the audio, right? You guys can hear the audio, right? You're good. Let me just make sure the stream is good. Let me make sure the stream is good real quick, because I don't want you to talk if the stream is
Talking
good.
about the audio, right?
Okay, yeah, we're good. Okay, here we go. Go ahead.
All right. So let's just say hypothetically, somebody's exit point is $60 in down the road, not tomorrow, just long-term perspective. Does it really matter if you paid $24.50 or $22.50? I mean, yes, you could have got some more shares, but in the grand scheme of things, you still generated a significant amount of upside. If it goes to 100, it matters even less. So from a short-term perspective, sure, I guess anybody would want to buy more shares and get the best price. I can't time markets. And while it feels like this should retrace, given that it's up 50% in a week, maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. I can't call bottoms and tops. I've never been able to, and I don't try swing trading because I'll go absolutely insane. But I think the other thing that we need to remember, and I texted you this just now, if NVIDIA blows it out of the water and the AI story becomes even more powerful, don't you think that the whole sector is going to melt up?
That's a very interesting point. So your argument is NVIDIA's already up like 50% year to date. If they blow it out of the water and the market gets even crazier about NVIDIA, then the whole sector gets some momentum and this train keeps going on.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that's going to happen. I'm just saying that it's a scenario where NVIDIA doesn't look that expensive from a forward PE basis for 2026 earnings.
Right.
Based on the revisions. And if they blow this quarter out of the water, and if they come out and say there's even more demand, does this narrative get even more steam? And I know everybody likes saying we're in a bubble or we're getting bubble territory. They love using the word bubble, but look at a long-term chart. Every time the market's gone up a lot, it's come down, and then it's just gone up more over a long period of time. Maybe we're due for a pullback. Maybe we're not. Nobody knows what the future holds. But ultimately, over a long-term period, the market wants to go higher.
Let me ask you this question. A firm beat revenue, beat EPS, beat guidance, but the market tanked them. PayPal, obviously the market tanked them. Do you think that the narrative around fintech is so salty that a lot of the money is just rotating into exuberant chasing of AI and semiconductor companies? And right now this market is narratives and not as fundamental based around what's happening.
I think the narrative is definitely on. The narrative's always been on top. And as much as people want to argue fintech is tech plays, it's a hybrid. They're financial plays with a tech aspect. They're just doing things differently than a traditional banking organization. So I don't think it's fair to consider a Square or a PayPal tech, like a true tech play. Like Palantir is a true tech play.
Right.
You know?
Right.
And yes, they're doing things differently, but they're still in the financial sector.
Right. Okay, Steve, I'm pulling up your article right here. I'm taking a look at it. You say risks to your investment thesis. What could you give us as a risk for why, Palantir really doesn't play out over the rest of the year, even though maybe it's nice to get a little bit of bearish thoughts right now on a really big green day. What are you thinking in terms of risks?
Yeah, I mean, look, the bottom line is every investment has risks, even if, I don't care how bullish you are, you could be the CEO of the company. There's always risk to your business. And management executing, competition coming in, Microsoft's writing a blank check and acquiring whoever they can acquire from an engineering standpoint and building out whatever they can build out. AIP not being adopted the way that it looks like it's going to be adopted. I mean, these are legitimate risks, but you have to at least entertain them, even if you don't think that they are possible. So I'm entertaining that these are risks to the business because technically they are. Now, whether I believe that they outweigh my investment thesis that's my opinion. You know, the risks are real. Now, if they play out, it's a different story. Is I do think that when you have all these companies saying, look, Cisco Systems can do business with whoever they want. Tyson, Airbus, BP, Exxon, they can do business with whoever they want, okay? These companies can implement any software they want. They're choosing Palantir for a reason. So I'm going by what big companies and governments are doing, not what analysts or somebody like myself or people on TV are saying, because they have no skin in the game when it comes to utilizing the product for business. And that's what I'm looking for. And the business community and government entities are speaking loud and clear with the software they're using.
Talk to me about free cash flow. In the article here, you say their free cash flow is 300 million. Free cash flow margin is 48%. That's your favorite stat. Why is this your favorite stat? And why is free cash flow something we should care about versus just top line revenue growth for Palantir?
Listen, I think free cash flow is a better measure of profitability than net income because you're not looking at taxes or write-downs or anything like that. And look, yes, operating income / net income is where you derive EPS from, which is another very popular method. Nothing wrong with that. I like looking at cash in versus cash out. And free cash flow is the tranche of capital that you're going to pay down debt from, which Palantir has none, make acquisitions from, buy back shares, pay down debt, pay dividends. I mean, that's your free cash flow, hence the name. And you look at where large application software enterprises are trading, Adobe, Workday, Intuit, Oracle, Salesforce, they're all trading between 30 and 50 times free cash flow. I think Adobe and Intuit, the average is around 40 times. So on $1 billion of free cash flow with 40 multiple, that's 40 billion market cap. If Palantir gets to 5 billion annualized free cash flow with a 40 multiple, that's a 200 billion market cap. So,
Steve, let me ask you this. Would you buy Tesla or Palantir right now? Tesla at 190, Palantir 24. Not would you buy, but what's more attractive to you? Not would you buy, but what's more attractive?
Don't think of it as a $25 stock versus $190 stock. Think about it as what has more upside potential. And I think it's a time frame because I did start buying Tesla because I think the long-term story is very interesting. But with everything that's going on with Musk, I mean, if he leaves, I'm out. But right now, for the next 5 years, I think Palantir has got way more potential than Tesla.
You think Palantir over Tesla?
But if you say over 10 years, I think it's a little bit of a different story because my whole thesis with Tesla is the bot. And it's going to take some time to play out to see how it becomes adopted and when it actually comes out. Because I think the bot is going to be bigger than the car business. So I think 10 to 15 year period, Tesla could have more upside potential from a percentage standpoint. But the bot's got to play out for that. But over the next 5 years, I think we're in the beginning of the AI aspect. And I think Dan Ives is right. And I think you're right. And I think that we are on the precipice of a huge fundamental shift with software. And that's going to get adopted much quicker than the bot from Tesla. And I think there's a big opportunity in Palantir still. And look, what does it matter? If shares retrace to 20, what does it really matter in the grand scheme of things?
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah.
So what? It retraces and then it goes back up next year or whatever. It doesn't matter.
Okay, here's another question for you. Why do you think the street is just figuring out Palantir? Like, why did they not get it before retail?
I mean, I can't definitively say because, I don't know. My opinion on that would be they probably looked at Palantir as a meme stock. They probably looked at it as something that dumb money was going into. And they probably got caught up in the narrative that they were a CIA psyop and all this other stuff, blah, 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 blah. I mean, I don't know. I don't think people took the time to really look into it. I think the fact that they weren't profitable and they just passed it up. I think it was just wrong place, wrong time. They went public when? End of 2020?
Steve, let me ask you this question here. SMCI is up 7%, $740.
It's amazing.
The stock is
It's amazing.
The stock is up from let's get a reasonable time frame. From 2023, it was at $65, so it's up more than 7x. Is this a bubble, Steve? 743 on SMCI?
To be honest with you, I've never looked into the financials, so I have no idea.
The growth is good. The margins are 15%. But just in general, any stock going up almost 200% in the first 20 trading days, that kind of feels like a bubble, right?
I think even NVIDIA, I don't think companies are supposed to gain 500 billion in market cap in such a small period of time.
So why are we so afraid to just be objective and say it's a bubble if we know companies don't gain 500 billion in 2 weeks?
So here's the thing. A lot of people are trying to say this is like the .com, and a lot of people are trying to be bearish, and nobody likes saying, but this time is different, because when you start saying that, you lose all sense of reality. But I think this is what's different about other periods. You look at the actual profitability that these companies are producing. You've never had a period. You go back to 2000, you go back to 2008. You've never had a period where these companies are generating this much profitability. And that's what I think is different about this time. Yes, stocks can go down. We could see a 20% retracement. That's always on the table. But even if we see a retracement in the stock market, are these companies going to stop generating profitability or stop growing? I mean, that's where I'm looking at this. Like,
but okay. So Steve, here's my thing. If the stocks are not going to stop growing, even if there's a retracement or whatever, that means we're in a multi-year bull market, dare I say, right?
Well, no, I'll say it, and I've said it. I think that we're in a multi-year bull market.
Okay.
And look, we may have a bear retracement, but I think that we are in a bull cycle, because I don't see this slowing down. I mean, do you see Apple cutting their profitability by 50%?
No.
I mean, do you see Microsoft cutting their profitability over the next couple of years? I mean, I just see these companies getting bigger from a profitability standpoint.
By the way, I think you were right about the Vision Pro. I think you were right about the Vision Pro. I was saying it's stupid, and now all these videos coming out. I think that thing's gonna sell. I don't know if it's gonna, be the next iPhone, but
let's be real. $3,500 is not the price point it needs to be at. Okay, it's not. It needs to be $799 to $999 for mass adoption. But when you finally get to that third gen, even if it gets to $1,299, people buy iPad Pros for $1,299. They don't really think about it. When you think about the applicable use cases for it, and you think about, okay, if I'm going to spend $1,299 for this, and I'm going to have it for 4 or 5 years, and I'm going to be able to use it for so many different things, I think people will justify the price. There's just so much you can use it for, and I really don't think we're going to be using screens indefinitely. I think that we're going to transcend the screen. And look, it's got to get better with using a keyboard or that type of stuff. But that technology does not stop innovating. And I think it's a 2-horse race, Meta and Apple, with these products.
Okay, let me ask you this question, Steve, because I think the audience here definitely is curious about PayPal. This is a trade. Palantir right now, 24.57. We'll keep an eye on that. People think PayPal, I mean, we don't even have to go through the numbers. We know it's ridiculously undervalued. It's up 2% today. I think that's only because you're not allowed to short after a negative 10% day. What are your raw thoughts on what Alex Chris did on that call? And post-call, given the numbers were really good, how do you feel about this stock moving forward?
I don't think I could have been more clear in my thoughts. I mean, I pretty much blew up about it. Like, look, he's got his own style. I don't think that style was what was warranted or needed on this conference call. The numbers are very good. The growth is fine. The guidance is fine. Look, dead companies aren't supposed to grow. PayPal keeps growing, okay? I did not appreciate some of the things he said, and I don't want to misquote, and I don't have it up, so I'm not going to say them. But some of those things you just can't say. And I didn't think that he played to the strong points. And that's the big problem.
Okay.
Look, I'm a shareholder, and I'm considering buying more because
Why do you want to buy
so
more?
undervalued.
Why?
Look, even though I hated the conference call, and I think that he needed to do damage control, which he didn't do, and I think that he needs to put a line in the sand. Look, I'm not him, but if I was him, I would come out and say, I would rally the troops. This is unwarranted. We're going to spend an additional $5 billion in buybacks because stock is too cheap. We're betting on ourselves, but we're going to create value for shareholders. This is a cash printing machine. We're going to buy back another, call it, what is that, 6% of the float or something like that. And we're just going to keep doing it. And we're going to make the money back. And we're just going to keep buying more shares until the street respects us. He does that. He comes out as a wartime CEO. I mean, what would Noto have done? Noto's freaking backstopped SoFi so many times with his own personal money. If Noto was a CEO of PayPal, you don't think that he would be like, I have $9 billion in cash without even touching my short-term investments or my long-term investments, and $9 billion in debt where I don't have to worry about, or $11 billion in debt where I don't have to worry about the maturities. Yeah, let's use $5 billion and backstop it and send a very crystal clear message that we're here to stay. Apple's not eating our lunch and we're coming after everybody.
So the buybacks are very bullish to you.
Of course. I mean, look, if you own 10 shares of a company that has 100 shares, you own 10% of the company, right?
Right.
If I go and I buy back, the company buys back 50 shares, and you still own those 10 shares, you now own 20% of the company, right?
Right.
Okay. That's why buybacks are very important, because it increases the equity ownership of every share outstanding, in addition to making those shares equivalent or correlate to a larger percentage of the revenue and earnings that the company generates.
Wait, Steve,
So
someone just asked a question. This actually makes a lot of sense. They said, if they're going to buy back their stock, why would he blow up the stock price? So maybe he wanted to be crappy on the earnings call, so the stock would tank.
I don't think that he thought that the street. I think that this guy went into it thinking if he just laid it on the line with being as transparent as possible, he would gain a lot of respect, and the market didn't respect it. The market didn't want to hear it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the bottom line is everybody likes to talk about financial manipulation or engineering. No, it's not manipulation and it's not engineering. It's simple math. If you're generating $1 billion in earnings and it comes out to $5 of EPS, and then you buy back 20% of the company and you're still generating the same amount of earnings, your earnings are going to go up to $6 a share. Like, it's just simple. Your earnings get distributed among a less amount of shares. It's not financial engineering. You're using your profitability to buy more of your stock and retire the shares. There's nothing wrong with that.
And the buyback starting on Monday, I believe, right? Like that's when the quiet period ends.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're doing it's on a quarterly basis, but there's a reason why Apple continuously has gone up. They buy back $20 billion worth of shares every quarter. Forget the amount of profitability they generate in revenue. That is extremely bullish. When you have Apple buying shares every quarter to the tune of $20 billion, people don't look at things like that.
Yeah, and I think the top line metrics, revenue, EPS, transactions per account, transaction margins, all of those were great. The one thing that sucked was they lost 2 million users, but I mean, that's not enough to tank.
Yeah, but let me ask you something. If you're losing, I think it's there people look at the wrong metrics. If you're losing users, but you are still growing your revenue and you're growing your free cash flow, does it really matter?
No.
Were those just dead accounts that weren't even using it? Like, we don't know that. They could have just been dead idle accounts that they said we're closing.
24.73 on Palantir. We are trying to get to that $25 level. Steve, Tesla's at 193. Is Tesla exciting to you right now, or do you still think that Elon is stupid?
Listen, I'm still averaging in. You know, I bought 2 days ago, I think.
You've been buying. I didn't know you've been buying.
Yeah. Well, I've been selling covered calls. Dude, I sold a lot of covered calls on Palantir, so I was using that money to buy more shares of Tesla.
And you don't care that. Oh, so Dan Ives said today that they need to come up with a new compensation package. Do you think it needs to be $50-60 billion again, or do you think it needs to be smaller but more voting power?
Look, who am I to say what Elon deserves, right? I think if you
Well, you're a
this
Tesla
guy-
shareholder. They're going to ask you to vote on it, so you are someone who deserves to.
Yeah, but you know what? Okay. So here's where I'm at with it. If the stock let's say hypothetically the stock's at what, 500 billion market cap right now.
Yeah, 580.
Okay.
I think.
Let's say that he gets the stock to 1 trillion and then 1.5 trillion. Okay, and he's not getting paid a salary, and his comp is based on shares. If he gets the stock there, is he not worth a 25 or 50 billion dollar compensation package from shares?
I think he is.
I mean,
he is.
look, it's about, and I would rather invest in somebody that has their compensation tied to performance rather than a salary. And like Noto, most of his compensation, if not all of his compensation, is on PSUs.
Okay, speaking
really
of
think
speaking of
about that.
Noto, SoFi breaking through $8 again, showing some life. 820.
Oh, nice, good. Because I've been buying the fuck out of it.
You've been buying the F out of it. That's what you've been doing.
Yes. Yes.
Why?
I mean, look, I could be 100% wrong, and SoFi could have issues if the banking sector blows up, and I could be out a lot of money. So don't follow me on that. The bottom line is, I think that people are misjudging SoFi. I think people are not respecting the tech platform. I think people don't understand the tech platform. I don't think people understand the opportunity. And this guy came out and he dropped a line in the sand. He did what I wish Alex Chris would do, and I wish Noto would call Chris and give him a management 101 course, because you know what? Noto didn't just come out and guide for this year. He guided for freaking 2026 with 55 to 80 cents of EPS. I mean, he gave you a 3-year guidance.
Yeah.
And for them to get there, if he performs, which he hasn't given anybody a reason not to believe him, guy has managed his way out of one of the worst situations you could possibly be in with your number one growth driver and revenue driver stymied. I mean, guy's amazing. And if they get there, which I think they will, they're only going to get bigger. And they're doing everything that they are doing without having business segment, without having asset management branch. I mean, there's a lot of levers for them to pull. There's a lot of businesses for them to get into. And quite honestly, I do not want this to happen at all. But PayPal should buy SoFi, move Alex Chris to COO, and put Noto in charge of the whole entity.
That would be crazy if they actually bought it. That would be absolutely insane.
Have Noto be the CEO, put Alex Chris as COO. The guy's an operator.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think that Chris is the CEO or the face of the company. Like, Noto is he's everything.
Yeah.
He's a rare breed.
All right, Steve, let me get you out of here. Steve's article, I'm posting it again in the chat. Please make sure to just click it. Obviously, you should read it, but if you just click it, it really does help the trending of the article.
If you like it, I would greatly appreciate it.
Yeah, 1,240 people here. Steve deserves it. He's been covering this company since 2021. He deserves to be number one on Seeking Alpha. And honestly, if that article is number one on Seeking Alpha, more people know about Palantir. So if you could just click it, like it, and then give it a read. He makes his own charts. It's
And
really
I
good stuff.
gave him a shot. I'm surprised they didn't make me take it out, to be honest with you.
You gave me a shout out. I love it.
I linked
Can
your
we tell
YouTube
them the
page
story
in there.
about the original article or no?
No, I don't want to say
Okay,
that.
we're not.
No.
Yeah, so you gave me a shout out as
um,
well. So please make sure to check it out.
Oh, hey, dude, when can we get this Time magazine? Is it out yet?
No, I think it comes out in like 5 days. So we're going to get the Time magazine. We're going to use it.
Okay, so this is what I want to do. There's a company, PSA. They grade this. What I'm going to do is I want to get a couple of copies. We got to find good copies. Like, I want to try to get a PSA 10 of this. And if I can get a couple of them, I'll send you one. Because I'm going to send a couple out to get graded.
Okay. That sounds good to me.
That way we can hang them up.
All right. Sounds good.
All right.
Thank you, Steve. I'll talk to you
tonight.
later.
Yep. Well.
Bye. All right, guys. I just thought of an idea. I'm asking a poll in the chat. Let's see what you guys say. Should I sell the Palantir options I have right now? They're up 1,300. Keep the 1,300 and then use the initial 2,500 to buy shares. What do you think? I think it would be kind of fun because we're helping to buy some more shares, and now these options turn into a long-term play. What do you guys think? I'm going to do what the poll says. Let's give the poll a couple minutes. I actually think it'd be better to buy. I know the shares are pricey right now. I know 24.66 is stupid. I know. Out of all people, I know. But I'm curious what you guys say. What do we do? Do we take the profits and then I'll keep the profits, so I'll keep the 1,300, but then I'll use the initial 2,500 or whatever to buy some stock. It's such FOMO, dude. It's such bad FOMO. It's stupid. It's absolutely stupid. If the options are 2026, why would you sell? Just because to get the shares, you know? I mean, like the options are options, but ultimately we want to be. I don't do options on Palantir. I told you guys I did this play because it was stupid. A lot, like in December, I just had $2,000. I was like, fuck it, let's just do some options. But I do options on other companies, not Palantir. Palantir is about shares. You guys are saying do it. I think you guys are saying do it. Should we do it? I'll put it in order. Let's see. I'm going to do it live in front of you guys. We're going to put it in order. So right now, this is what the contract looks like. You see this? They're up $1,200. The contract is worth $1.22. I paid 76 cents for it. Okay. So it is 2026. It is 2026, but we can get some more shares. It's not too crazy. We can sell half. Half would be what? We would get, no, but then we wouldn't get the full 2,500 to buy. Should we do it? You guys are saying do it. All right, we got 6832 saying we're do it. So fuck it, we're gonna do it. We're gonna get the shares, even though I'm probably overpaying for the shares. I know I'm overpaying for the shares, but let's fucking do it, dude. Let's do it. All right, here we go. So we're gonna close these. We're gonna close all 28, and let's see when Robinhood fills them. All right, they might fill them here at this price. Let's see. I'm gonna put it up. Let's see if they fill. All right, so we officially did it. And now we wait. Now we wait a couple of minutes. Let's see if they fill. Now we wait. Now we wait. Sell puts. Don't buy the shares. You guys saying to sell the puts? All right, we'll look at the premiums. But there, we put in the order. Now we have to see if it actually fills. Will it fill or not? I will let you know. Will it fill or not? Shares, you won't have to worry about exit strategy. That's what I'm thinking. I'm like, dude, I don't do options on Palantir. You guys know I don't. This is just some random thing in December. I was bored and I just did it. I didn't think Palantir would get to this price in December. So the fact that these options are even up is ridiculous to me, but they are up. And so I'm kind of thinking, let's just like pocket the profit and buy the shares. Okay, so they're not filling at 125. I'm going to reduce it to 122 and see if it fills there. We're still going to make about $1,250. All right, so we're going to do 122. Let's see if these bad boys fill. 122. I don't think they're going to, well, we'll see. All right, here we go. Submitted. They filled. They filled. They filled. We got him. We got him. Oh, and the camera dies. Of course the camera dies when it happens. We got him. Okay, so this is the math. This is the math on this, okay? This is the math. We bought these. We paid $2,128. And we just made $1,288 of profit. So we're going to take the initial, $2,128 and we're going to buy shares. What's the share price? Well, we'll just put in the dollar amount. We'll just put in the dollar amount for Palantir. We're just going to buy it right now. Fuck it. We're just going to buy the actual stock. We're going to buy the stock, ladies and gentlemen. Should we buy the stock? We can buy the stock, right? Because some of you guys are saying, wait, I want to buy it though. I just want to I mean, look, I know I'm overpaying for it. I know. Like, trust me, I know. But let's just do it, dude. So how many shares do I get for $2,000? I get 50 shares? No, I get 100 shares. No, I get like 95 shares. No, it's about 85 shares. Wait, how much is that? 2,128? I get 87 shares. I get literally 87 shares. 2,128 is 87 on the dot. All right, should we do it? Should we do it? Okay, I don't want to do. All right, I'm doing a poll. I'm doing a poll. I don't want to do it if you guys say not to do it. You guys said to get rid of the contract, so I did that. Now I'm going to ask, should I buy it now or wait? We will use the money to buy no matter what. We will use the money to buy. Buy Palantir now or wait till next week. Buy Palantir now or wait till next week. Either we're going to pay more next week or less next week, but we're going to do it. I'm going to do what the poll says, whatever the poll says. I don't care. Bay Ray says, don't do it. I don't need buying pressure on my covered calls. I'm doing whatever the poll says, okay? I'm going to leave the poll up for 5 minutes. It's up to you guys. I'm not doing it if you guys say not to do it. I mean, we're going to buy it eventually, but either we're going to buy it now or next week. We're going to either buy it now or oh, we're neck and neck. 48-52. We are neck and neck. Everyone needs to vote. We are neck and neck right now. The question is buy now or no. That's the yes or no. So if you say yes, then it means buy now. If you say no, that means wait till next week. This is a yes or no question. This is a yes or no question. It's either buy now or buy. It's either buy now or buy later. Call me a firm. That's how I got the bitches in high school. Okay, that's how your boy did it. That's how your boy did it. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? Those jokes were just too good for the women. I'm sorry. It is what it was. This is real Wall Street bet. It's not Wall Street bets because we're holding this thing till 2030, okay? Just like Steve, who you guys respect on the phone. He just said whether you buy now or you buy it at 20, does it really matter? All right, where's the poll? Damn, it's 53% no. I'm going to leave it up for another couple minutes, and then we're going to do what the poll says. We're going to do what the poll says. Damn, we're at 24-34. Maybe the no's have it right. Maybe the no's have it right. Maybe the no's have it right, dude. Wow, they really failed, dude. My options failed. How much is a gain of that? We made some fucking money on that, guys. We made, I think 60%. We made 61% on our money. Amit wants the poll to say yes. Yeah, I was hoping you guys would fucking say, yeah, I could just buy the damn shares. All right, we have 320 votes. I'm going to leave it until like 500 votes or leave it for like another 5 minutes. I'm going to give the yeses a little bit of a fighting chance. Amit's itchy on the trigger, dude. My eyes, I do one swipe and I'm 87 shares richer for Palantir. But do I know I'm buying at a stupid price? Yes, I obviously know I'm cash secured put. Let me check the premiums. What are the premiums on that? The premiums aren't good today because the fucking thing's up so much. The premium's probably disgusting right now. Palantir buy options. We'll do how much? We'll do March 8th. Sell put. We have to do 100 shares, so we're going to do one. Okay. So at $23, we're going to get 83 cents. So we get $83 to buy 100 shares of Palantir. And if it fills, our cost basis, guys, would be $22.13. $22.13. And this is by March 8th. This is by March 8th. Dude, I kind of just feel like fucking buying it, dude. Like, it's still no. The no's are still winning. Guys, I will, okay. Buy a put debit spread. Do what Chris is doing. Is Chris doing exactly a put debit spread? Is that how he's doing it? No, just wait. It sounded good. You're too late now. It's not exciting. All right, I guess I'm waiting, dude. The money is going to go into Palantir. Don't worry about that. This $2,128 is going into Palantir. Make sure you guys remember that number, $2,128. But I'm not going to do it if you guys say not to do it. I don't want to upset the poll. The poll is the poll. The poll is golden when it comes to the chat. All right, I guess we're waiting. Weekly cash secured put. What are the premiums on the weekly? What strike on the weekly? What strike would you do on the weekly? By the way, Palantir 24.28. I'm going to check the book order in a second. It's losing some momentum now. February 16th, sell a put for 23 bucks. I get 30 cents. That's not that good, dude. 24.5 is giving you 92 cents, but we're already at 24.3. And at 25, it's $1.24, which is great. But I mean, it's going to be hard to get over 25. All right, we're going to wait. We're going to wait. Everyone remember that number, 2,128. When we get a nice dip on Palantir, if we see it, we unload the $2,128. I'm going to write that down so I don't forget it. 2,128. I'm going to write it down. 2,128. All right, I just wrote it down. That's how much we have to spend on Palantir soon. Amit took 60 seconds to buy by the first poll. He's waiting for it to turn yes on this poll because that's what he wants. I mean, no, you guys said to wait, so I'm not going to do it. It's 53-47. It's like fucking, it's like a Trump and Haley in, what's that state? New Hampshire? Yeah, it's like at that point, you know, Haley has no chance. I don't know if the yeses are going to win here. So it's confirmed. We're going to wait. I don't think my 87 shares would save the stock right now, falling at 24.30. Look at me, save the stock as the stock is up 52% for the week. It's ridiculous. We've gotten too accustomed to this. But all right, we'll wait. Well, the money's there. The money is in the account, and it'll be bought soon enough. We did make 60% on the options, though, right? That's not bad. 60% on the options are not bad at all. Chris, or buy Celsius. Dude, Celsius is disgusting, but they did do a partnership with Suzuka Ferrari. Okay, so they had a partnership with Suzuka Ferrari today. Let me show you guys this. And that's why Celsius, it was actually up. Now it's not up anymore. It was at like 59. Look at this shit. They're partnering with Ferrari. Oh, by the way, Palantir works with Ferrari as well. So there we go. These guys are drinking. It's so disgusting. I don't know what professional player would drink Ferrari, but I mean, drink Celsius, but that's what they're drinking. It's so disgusting, dude. It's so bad. It's so bad. It's not good. It's not good at all. New Hampshire, like a Palantir would say. That's hilarious. That's hilarious. Literally drinking one right now. I don't get it. I don't like it, dude. I don't like it. Okay, while we're still here, because we're not ending the stream, we're just chilling out a little bit. I mean, we'll end in a bit, but right now we're just chilling. Let's see what Palantir does in a little bit. What was I going to say? I was going to say something. I forgot what I was going to say. Oh, I was going to say, what's the most interesting thing that happened to you this week? I was looking at Robinhood for a second. What's the most interesting thing that happened to you to this week? And then, do you guys want to talk about Robinhood, since we have to do Robinhood next week? We have dude, Robinhood's going to be a big day, dude. I'm going to be so afraid to even look at the price. So 2 questions. Do we want to talk about Robinhood? And then what's the most interesting thing that happened to you this week? That was the question. SoFi, look at that, 2.48%, $8.28. Not bad. S&P is 15 cents away from 500 and just touching there. It's just got to touch 500. SMCI is 740, and it makes no freaking sense, but that's where SMCI is right now. That's where SMCI is. It's ridiculous, dude. It's stupid. It's ridiculous. Makes no sense, but that's what we got on SMCI. Have you watched Lord of the Rings? No. Oh, we could just do Q&A too. We could just have fun, do some Q&A as we're waiting for Palantir stock to go back to 25, because that's what we fucking do. We wait for this thing to come back. After like 20 minutes, if it's stuck here and those red candle, we're not seeing momentum. But yesterday we saw the reversal, dude. We saw it go back to 25. It is Friday. Friday's tough. So we'll wait for 20 minutes. We'll see. And then we'll keep going. Let's see what you guys have to say. Got in as a new investor on Palantir yesterday, so hopefully that will be the biggest thing. All right, so we got someone new to Palantir. I'm pretty sure a lot of people are new to Palantir. I just want to say these prices are a bit ridiculous. I don't know what your average is, but this is not what I think most Palantir folks think the price should be, even after that earnings. But it's up, you know, and so you just got to be careful in terms of how it ends up playing out over the next couple weeks. Amit, can you run a session on buying puts, calls, etc., please? I'm just still old school. Okay, so everyone's been asking for this, and I have neglected this channel, guys, so much this week because I've been so busy. Like, you guys notice I haven't even put out a daily Palantir episode. You notice I haven't even sent out a newsletter because every day I'm talking for fucking 17 hours, and I just don't have the time to do this thing. I have a channel called Macro Darts, which is basically my my second channel where we just do interviews, clips, stock stuff. This is where I'll be talking about options and like very beginner options. So I'm going to put in the chat. Make sure to subscribe to it. The thumbnails are fire. I have a thumbnail guy working with me. You're going to love seeing the thumbnails in your feed, even if you don't click on them. It's very juicy thumbnails to look at. He's a very talented designer. But I will do intro to options. I'm not an options expert. I do have some basic knowledge of it, and we're going to put it on this channel. So this channel is where you're going to get all the juicy basic options. Good night, Bay Ray. Have a good one. Hopefully we don't see 26. Why you make a separate channel? Because this channel is optimized for a particular algorithm. And if I were to post Robinhood and SoFi and all these videos on this channel, it just wouldn't work. YouTube is a machine. It's a beast. I've understood this beast very intimately over the past couple of years, and you just can't mix it up as much. I mean, YouTube's just too complicated to do that. It's just too big of a channel. So Twitter you can do that with, but YouTube is a little tough. So separate channel. That channel is like my version of CNBC. You know how CNBC spits out 70,000 videos a day? Eventually that's going to be me on macro darts. But we're going to work up to that. So right now we're doing like 5 videos a day. Eventually we'll get there as well. And we'll keep it going from there. Jesus admit you need some Italian lessons. It's scuderia. I thought it was Sudoku. Sudoku sounds a little funner than sudikira. That reminds me of the word of the day. Let's do the word of the day. But I probably do need some Italian lessons. What happened with options with TJ? Dude, we're supposed to do our episode, but every day I'm streaming for like 15 hours. So like we can't do our episode. I think on Saturday we're going to try to do our episode. Today I'm going to have an episode with, what's his name? With Jose, my guy, at like 6 p.m. We're talking about semiconductor stocks. So if you're interested in semis, that podcast will be live. But me and TJ, just every day I'm streaming so much. And we were supposed to do the stream yesterday at like 12 p.m., but like then we were streaming. So it's just really hard to get it here, but eventually to get there. Okay. Discombobulate. Wow. I love this word. I've used this word many times.
Discombobulate.
I like how he says Bob. Discombobulate. Hi, Bob. To confuse or disconnect, confound, or bewilder. The sudden change in schedule discombobulated the students, throwing off their rhythm for the day. The loud noise and flashing lights discombobulated the performers, causing them to stumble through their routine. I like this word because I think I've used it many times. Obviously, Palantir share price has discombobulated the shorts, and it's made them very confused about what's going on. Palantir now, 2404. We're seeing a nice red candle, folks. We are seeing a red candle here on Palantir. Okay, so the no's were right to not buy. The yeses were right to sell the options, and the no's were right to not buy. So literally this chat is goated right now. We made money and didn't lose any money. We weren't degenerate today. We were actually like such a good chat today. Eventually we're going to deploy that money. We just have to see when. But we have a red candle. Let me look at the book volume here and see how bad it is right now for Palantir. Yeah, I mean, there's no massive walls, but it just looked like there's a lot of sellers. At 25, there's, oh yeah, that's why it's falling. There's 60,000 shares sitting at 25. And there's probably even more on the dark pool and all that shit. 25 is resistance, it looks like right now, at least for now. 25 is tough to overcome. That's not going to be easy, dude. That might be insiders selling. That might be, but there's a nice hefty wall. I mean, 60,000 is not as insane as 300,000 yesterday, but it's definitely a hurdle for them to jump over. Buyers are exhausted. Yeah. Where's volume? Is volume dried up? Volume is 50 million. Yesterday was what, 220 million? So we are almost 25% of yesterday, and it's been an hour. So it depends on if it slows down or if it keeps going, but it does seem like they are there. Yeah, Robinhood, if you have gold, that's the order book. Also, it's Friday and traders are cashing out. Yeah, that's true. Friday is definitely cashing out. You may have gone to prom with your mom, but you're still Palantir goat. Guys, I did not go to prom with my mom. My mom actually did the makeup for my prom date in our house. Okay. I brought her to our house. Like your boy did good in college, dude. Your boy, and in high school. Now it took me 2 years. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Freshman, sophomore year, I was swinging and missing. And even then I wasn't really missing. Like freshman year, I was not dating, but I was talking to a cheerleader. So freshman year, I was on the JV basketball team, and there was a sophomore when I was a freshman, and she thought I was really cute. And she told her friends that I was really cute, but she didn't tell me. Her friends told me. And then, dude, you guys aren't going to believe me, but I went up to her after school one day before basketball practice with a jean jacket and jeans on. I looked like I was wearing a Canadian tuxedo. And I just leaned over her locker, and she couldn't see me because the locker door was in front of my face. And as soon as she closed the locker door, I know you guys are visualizing this shit right now. I was there, and I was just like, hey. And she started blushing. And this is what I'm talking about, dude. This is what I'm talking about. You guys don't know. You don't know the stories, okay? You don't know the stories. No, you don't know the stories. This is the type of riz that you don't understand that I'm capable of, all right? Now, I was only a freshman, so it didn't go that far physically. You know what I'm saying? We got to first base, nothing that crazy. But nonetheless, it was the idea that I had the confidence to do that as a freshman in high school. So, and then there's many more stories like that. Don't worry. I'm going to play hard to get with these stories. These stories will come out over time, okay? But the point is, these stories did indeed happen. And so And so that was the case. Laura, I was talking about the volume, not the market cap. The market cap's 52 billion, but the volume's 52 million right now. Volume and market cap are the same, but volume's 52 million and 52 billion is the market cap. Just call your mother and the propaganda. Bollywood shit. Yo, literally, dude, if you watch a Bollywood movie, that's how the guys seduce the women. It's literally and dude, my hair. I mean, I wear a hat every day now, but you guys know my hair is like it's like very it's like I had like Justin Bieber type of hair, right? It was hair that girls liked. So it was she ugly? No, dude, she was really pretty. She was really, really pretty. I remember her. Like people were surprised that we were talking and stuff, and she was really pretty. I remember her. She was awesome. P. Chess, thank you for the $10 super chat. They're crazy for doubting. By the way, confident, risk-taking, streaming in front of 1,000 people, funny. This is why Pete Davidson gets girls and everyone else types on their keyboard wondering how. Yo, P. Sesh, my guy, dude. That's exactly what it is, you know? It's just, it is confidence. You know, a lot of people are like, hey, Amit, you're in front of 1,000 people. Palantir, by the way, down 20, below 24. So we're fighting for 24, now down 2%. All right, I'm going to admit it. The chat was goated for telling me not to buy. Otherwise, we'd be bag holding right now. So that's awesome. A lot of people are like, yo, Amit, don't you get nervous in front of 1,000 people? And I'm like, no. Like there is not an ounce of nervousness in me. And I don't know why, because if you think about it, it's kind of surreal that I'm just talking in front of the screen and there's 1,000 people. But like, I don't know. I feel like there's just got to be something into you that like I want 10,000 people to be here. I want 100,000. I wouldn't be nervous. And I think I proved I wouldn't be nervous because on the Palantir earnings call, when there were 5,000 people, I made my same stupid jokes, and I had no concern over if people would cringe or First of all, Palantir was up 20%, so the jokes really they felt good, and the Palantir price action was good, but I didn't care. I just like doing it. It's fun. It's fun. The infinite monologue. Yeah, that's the other thing. I think I just keep talking, and I don't know how to stop talking. Which is why we streamed for fucking 9 hours. I just like to talk a lot. And so I keep going. Because you believe what you say. It's not like a live in-person audience. Yeah, that's also true. Now, remember, I've been in front of in-person audiences for a long time just because I did debate in high school. But I don't know. It's just fun, dude. This is what I wanted my whole life. I've wanted to perform every day. I got to do that in high school. Then it was taken away from me when I left high school because I wasn't on the debate team anymore, and I didn't join the debate team in college because I was getting too many girls, and I needed to focus on that versus focus on the debate team. And so post college, I was like, well, I just want to debate. I just want to perform. I just want to be in front of an audience, and YouTube is kind of the outlet to do it. So it's fun. Do you let Kelly talk when it's just you and her? It's funny about Kelly, dude. We were on the phone last night, and she gets nervous sometimes when she's talking too much and I'm just listening. She's just like, why aren't you talking? And I'm like, I'm listening to you. I talk all day. Now I'm listening. And she's like, no, you have to say something. I'm like, how do I say something if I can't react to what you say? And to react to what you say properly, I have to listen. See, here's the thing about me and women as well, okay? I know I talk a lot. I babble on like crazy on this live stream. But I'm a good listener, dude. I'm a fucking good listener. And when it comes to getting the opposite sex, you need to listen, okay? Because these women just love when I can repeat what they've said. And sometimes she'll think I'm not listening. She'll think I'm just like on Twitter or something. And then I repeat everything she says. And she's just like, all right. Like if you can listen, you can do really well. And I think I'm good at that, even though I talk like crazy. Apple's up 188, PayPal 57, SoFi 822, SMCI 738. Where's Palantir? Are we struggling to hit 24? 23.84. There's your red candle. Dude. Shout out to the chat telling me not to buy, dude. I was ready to fucking YOLO that $2,000 at 24.80, and you guys said no. Hold my beer. We're not doing that. Cleanspark is still up 22%. Cleanspark's holding its gains. Robinhood 1140, they're holding their gains. Palantir is not holding its gains. Now, again, $23, guys. We can't be that sad about it. I mean, it's $23, but I think we all knew. Like, there's a little bit hard to see if that's going to happen. It is your job to talk. Yeah, that's also true. It's also my job to talk. It's kind of crazy, dude, because my dad, he actually goes out and does work in the real world. My mom does work in the real world, and I'm at home just talking. And it's just it's you know, it's obviously content creation and trying to create value. You know, you have to work really hard for it. I've been working very hard the past 3 years. I don't want to underscore that, but it is different. It is unique to think your skill set could allow you to be in a certain position where talking is where your value comes from versus other stuff. And it's hard to do, dude. I've said this many times. Having a career in media is the most privileged career you can ever have. And the amount of work you have to do to even give yourself a chance to have a career in media, like, it's not easy, dude. And it can all go away in a second, which is why we haven't missed a live stream, you know, in a year. The one time we were at California when we missed a live stream with me, Kevin. That's like, outside of that, I've been consistent because this is something you got to really work for, you know? And it's fun. I love it. I fucking love it. It's great. I enjoy it. Can they understand you make money as a content creator? Well, so first of all, I don't make a lot of money as a content creator. Let me make that very clear. Like, I do not make a lot of money. These streams on average make $35. Like, the longer streams have made some money because of the super chats, but the ad revenue on you, by the way, let me tell you, my ad revenue has fallen dramatically. It actually makes me afraid of Google. The RPM is now $5 per 1,000 views. It was at like 13 a while ago. The reason it fell is because in the beginning of the year, advertisers pull back on their budget because they spent so much in December. But still, dude, like a 50% drop. Imagine if you started getting paid 50% less of your salary hourly. Like, this is the problem with content. It's not fucking sustainable, dude. It's so difficult. So I don't make a lot of money, but what I've convinced my parents about is that capturing market share, it's like a really Palantir argument in terms of audience building, is what will allow me one day to make a lot of money. So, you know, I've always made money. I've had my own business since high school. You know, I have a consulting firm. I have money on the side. I have savings. I don't have to ask my parents for a single penny. Okay. If anything, I spend more money, you know, around the house, buying a lot of stuff, groceries, all that stuff. The only thing I don't pay for is rent, right? Like, so my parents, and the thing is, they're Indian parents. If I tried to pay my dad rent, he would slap the shit out of me, dude. Like, Indian parents, they don't do that stuff, dude. They just don't allow their kids to, you know, I'm blessed, but that's who they are. But I pay for my car insurance. I pay for everything, dude. I pay for everything. But after I make money, I don't have that much profit at the end of the month. Really, all my gains have come from the stock market because content creation is not that lucrative until you have a lot of audience, and you need to put in a lot of work to get it. So it takes time to get there. Any hobbies besides finance? Dude, honestly, you know what's so funny? Let me show you guys this shit. Let me show you this. So I didn't text Kelly back yesterday for like 30 minutes. And she got a little upset. She's like, why didn't you text me back? And it's because I didn't have notifications on, because this is what I was doing on my bed. Okay. You want to see this? You want to see what I was doing here on my bed? Don't get any gross thoughts. I wasn't doing that. Goodness, you guys are so naughty. This is what I was doing. This is what I was fucking doing. You see this shit? My laptop was open on my lap. I was going through Robinhood's Q3 numbers. This is how fucking obsessed. Like, this is stupid, dude. Do I have any hobbies other than finance? I don't think so, dude. I feel like this is all I do. I feel like I was looking through the numbers. I was trying to really make sure the stock's not going to fucking tank the bed next week. And I'm still not fully sure. So yeah, I don't know. I think this is all I do at this point. And hopefully it's enough to make some decent money. I'm 26, Gary. I'm 26. Okay. Let's talk about Robinhood as we're waiting. Where's Palantir? Palantir. Oh, wow. We rebounded to 24. 23.80 went to 24. That's not bad. That's not too bad. We got there. That's not too bad. Robinhood earnings. Okay. I am going to be so scared to look at the stock price the day of earnings. I'm not even going to look at the stock. I'm going to look at the numbers. You guys can look at the stock because I've got a lot of money in Robinhood. Okay. And I really want Robinhood to do well. And I'm afraid I have no other fear other than fintech is not being respected right now by the market. And Robinhood can pull up amazing numbers and they won't be respected by the market. And as a result of that, it makes me a little scared that the market will see some stupid metric like active users. And as a result of that, they're going to go down. And as a result of that, they're going to tank it. Now, here's the other thing I got to show you guys. Okay. This is why I'm so bullish on Robinhood. There's actually two things I got to show you from last night. This is on Twitter. Again, please make sure you're following on Twitter. You got to be following on Twitter. This is my boy, Josh. Okay. Look at this shit. This is why I'm bullish on Robinhood. Josh brought 1.6 million, 1.68 million or whatever to Robinhood from Schwab. This is 1.68 million in assets. He was up 120,000 on the day. So that's why I say 1.68 million that came to Robinhood. And I said, how much did they give you? Look at this. Look at this. Hi, Josh. You've earned $16,683 bonus on this transfer, and it's available to invest. This man got 17 grand for doing nothing. He did nothing other than bring his money to a better product. There have been, in my opinion, from my due diligence, thousands of people that have been doing this. Under the comments, look at this. Under the comments, someone said they did the same. I made the transfer from TD to Hood this week too. This is a random account. A lot of people have done this, okay? And so my logic here is if Robinhood's getting millions of dollars and they're paying, thousands, but that million can't leave for 5 years. And by the way, Josh is not going to leave because the brokerage is so good. It's not a shitty product. Then their assets under management are going to explode. Their cash sweep, which is the money they take. So Josh's uninvested cash, let's say Josh has 500,000 uninvested. They're going to take his 500,000. They're going to dump it into their partner banks. Their partner banks are going to give them an interest on that money. That's how they're going to pay Josh his 5% APY, but they're going to get a commission for doing that. So that's how their cash sweep product works. That brought in I think $40 million last quarter. I think that's going to fucking explode because they have so much money they're bringing in. And so people are like, oh, how are they going to pay for all these assets? They're going to pay for it with the $270 million they're going to bring in on net interest income. And then the interest, the money they get from commissions on the earnings fees via cash sweep, I think is going to be potentially what makes them profitable. And I just don't know if the street's going to understand how important that is. You can't sell or withdraw. No, you can sell and withdraw. You're not allowed to take away the entire position. That's my understanding. So obviously you can withdraw your money, but let's say he wants to take out that 1.68 million, you can't do that, right? Or else they're going to take away the transfer, the what do you call it? The bonus they gave you. So that's the thing about Robinhood. They're giving you such a great deal. People are taking up that deal, not just people with $10,000, people with a lot of money. S&P is 500. S&P is officially 500. Let's see if it holds. Palantir 2402 back to 24. And so my thoughts are this stock has been sitting at $8 for 22 months. It's 75% institutional float. The whales have obviously been accumulating. It's been left for the gutter. I think it moves with Bitcoin. Bitcoin's up at 47,000. That's why Robinhood's up as well. It has so many catalysts behind it. I just don't think it's stuck at 1144 later. So that's my thesis there. Palantir, you say we have new news. Let me check their news. What do we have? No, there's no news on the IR. If you have the article, Jeremy, put in the chat. So that's why I'm excited about Palantir. Okay. About Robinhood. ABCL up 2% of the day. Palantir now below 24. But I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what's going to happen with Palantir. Robinhood. I really don't know. I just think I'm not going to be wrong on this, but those are always the famous last words, and then you're fucking wrong. And I'm just like, I don't know, dude. Also, I got my options cheap, so even like I haven't even lost money on these, and Robinhood fell from 1350 to 1030, and I've still been green because I got them that cheap. And there's so much there's 2026. They have 2 years. It's just if they tank and that capital's dead money, I'm going to be pissed off, dude. I'll probably buy more because I don't think Robinhood deserves to tank at all. But I'm just scared about fintech right now. Do you think Bitcoin will be 50K this weekend? I have no clue. I would say no if you had to ask. But could it happen? Sure. I just have no clue. I don't know if Bitcoin's going to get there. I don't know. Bitcoin's in a very peculiar situation right now. We got to see what ends up happening, but I don't think I don't know if it gets to 50K. That would be psychologically, that would be very good. Okay, so let's look at something here. Let's look at Jeremy Siegal, our boy. Let's see what he has to say about the S&P 500. He's been very bullish on the market for about a year now. Let's see his tone on S&P 500. Some of the options are in my retirement account. Some of the options are just in my regular account. All right, here we go.
Let's take us to our talk of the tape, the record run for stocks and whether it has gotten too exuberant or not. Let's ask the Wharton School's Jeremy Siegal. He joins us now. Professor, we may make history as we have this conversation, and if we do, I'm going to break away for a minute. But what do you make of this market?
Well, Scott, It's almost amazing. We're a few weeks.
Guys, I'm gonna go use the bathroom real quick. I'm gonna go get my energy back because I gotta go to the Joe or the John or the Jacob or whatever. I'll be back while we hear Jeremy Siegal speak, and then we'll keep going.
Away from the 15th anniversary of the financial crisis low. We might remember in March of 2009 when the S&P sank down to 666. And now we're within a point or two of 5,000 15 years later. I mean, that is a 16%, over 16% annual rate of return for 15 years. It's really quite a marvel.
It is. I'll tell you what. I mean, you mentioned 16% for an annual rate of return. Professor, since November 1st, when this last leg to 5K started, the Dow's up 17%, the S&P's up 19%, the Nasdaq's up 23%, even the Russell, which has cooled lately, is up a nice 18%. Too much? Too much exuberance or not?
Well, so we're not going to repeat that. I mean, I think the S&P is going to be much more muted. Don't forget, this year, I think at the very beginning on January 1st, I said about 8, 10, 12%. We're up 5 right now. And what we're in, not even halfway through February. I think we got a little more to go, 5 to 8% maybe for the rest of the year. But
Professor, you're having to change your numbers every time we speak. The last time we had a conversation, right? It's incredible. The last time we spoke, but a couple of Fridays ago, I think, you said, well, we could do another 8 to 10%. Well, now the market keeps going up. Well, we could do another 5 to 8%. It's remarkable.
Yeah, well, Scott, as the market goes up, it'd be sensible for you to tone down your future returns, right? So I think that basically that's what I'm doing. I mean, certainly the returns that we're going to see in the next 15 years, I'm not going to be anything like the return. I mean, a 14% after inflation annual return is what we've had last 15 years. That is more than twice the long run historical average. And I've gone back 220 years, so I've got the history there. So you're not going to run at twice the run rate for another decade or so. It doesn't mean stocks aren't a good investment.
Yeah, no, believe me, you got the seasoning, Professor. And that's why we rely on you as often as we do, because you've seen so many different market cycles. There are some who suggest that what we're witnessing now, particularly in the mega caps, could be even worse than what we saw in 1999. That was the note yesterday from somebody at JP Morgan, and an influential strategist at that. How would you take that on?
It's not worse than 1999. Well, what is interesting is the last 16, 17% 15-year run did end at the beginning of 2000, at the end of 1999. But one thing is very, very different. This is important. We had S&P selling at 30 times earnings at the beginning of 2000. And the tech sector even far more than that. It was 60, 70 times earnings. And by the way, interest rates were higher than they are today. Mm-hmm. Today we're selling at 20 times earnings. Now, that's not cheap, but certainly it is not a situation like 1999 or 2000.
Let's take the risks, so to speak, one by one. And it plays right off of this idea of comparisons between now and 99. The concentration of the mega caps and the astronomical gains that we are witnessing, too narrow. So for those who say, oh, this rally is just way too narrow, and that's a major risk and a weakness in this market, how do you take that on?
Let's look at the other side. I think that makes the value stocks and the small stocks, which I'll say have just lagged tremendously, that are selling at 15 times earnings, small stocks at 12 times earnings. I think that's where the best opportunities are. Now, I'm not saying that the large chart is going to crash or anything like that, but if you're talking about how bad things are concentrated on the top, well, that means there's opportunities on the other side, and that's really where I do think the better gains are going to be over the next 3 to 5 years.
Even Siegal, who's so bullish, is afraid to kind of figure out, what he's ultimately going to do. DJ, I wasn't able to make the spreadsheet last night. I'm going to definitely make it over the weekend, dude. I just got so busy last night, but I'll make it over the weekend, and I'll make sure Monday we have it. Weekend I'll actually have some time. So I'm going to do a spreadsheet of all the different stocks I have in different playlists on my Webull, and I'll share it with you guys publicly on Google Docs, and you'll be able to see it. Last night I just had 0 time last night. And so you'll be able to see it. I have a bunch of different playlists. You'll be able to see all the tickers. These are the ones I have: crypto, fintech, EVs, SaaS, all that stuff. So Monday morning, you guys will get that. Palantir is $23.69. I just did a move on my options. I am taking out $10,000 from my Robinhood options. I'm not going to tell you how much I fully have in Robinhood. I said I would reveal that on the earnings, but I'm going to de-risk a little bit. They didn't fill yet. Let's see if they fill. If they fill, I would be making a 30% gain on the options. I'm not taking out all of my money, but I'm de-risking because I'm very afraid of how the fintech narrative is going. And we're going to take out 10 grand. We're going to take out 10 grand. Let's see. Let's see if they fill. I'm going to keep you updated as soon as they fill, if they actually get filled. But I think we take out 10 grand, dude. I am just, after seeing a firm put up the numbers they put up and they got smashed, I am now, maybe I'm wrong. Robinhood has such a better narrative, whatever, but I need to de-risk a little bit here. Because this is not, I just think the street wants AI. They don't want fintech. They just don't care. There's no time decay, guys. We have till 2026. There's no time decay at all. I mean, the time decay happens closer to end of 2025 or summer 2025. Like, we have plenty of time. I just don't want the money to be locked up if Robinhood tanks. And I already have a decent exposure. So I think let's get rid of 10,000 and let's de-risk a little bit. Let's de-risk. Affirm is the best fintech stock. I definitely think it's a good one up there. And if Affirm got hammered, dude. All right, these are not filling. I'm going to decrease the price by $1 and let's see if they fill at $1. Let's see if they fill at $1 because we got to fill these. We got to take out 10 grand. It's the most responsible thing to do. I'm probably going to be wrong about this and Robinhood's going to keep going up because I fucking know that's what's going to happen. But I think we should de-risk a little bit. Okay, here we go. Let's put it in. Let's see if it fills. All right, we're waiting. We're going to see if it fills. We'll see if it comes through. We'll see. It's kind of scary with the sentiment the market has. I agree. It kind of feels scary. The sentiment has as well. Palantir 23.69. All right, so we're down today. It's crazy how we're sad with that red candle, but it's like, it's $23, dude. It was at 16. Like, it was at freaking 16, So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see if this actually can maintain itself. Let's see, dude. Let's see if it happens. 23.65. It needs to hold 23 for us to be okay. And then we'll keep going from there. Palantir down 23.64. It dipped. You like this yesterday? Yeah, it did. And that's when I left the stream. And then this motherfucker came back to 25. So, see, here's the thing now. This is what I want everyone to think about. There is a lot of psychology in this. Now, when it falls from 25 to 23, everyone's like, oh, this is the dip. I want to buy. But if it falls from 23 to 22, 22 to 21, now everyone's like, oh, this was a meme stock rally. Let's sell it off. There are such competing psychological narratives that are intertwining within themselves right now, which is why it's very hard to kind of make a decision or kind of see, ultimately how it plays out. And the best thing you can do is just buy and hold through this thing. But if you're trying to play it, it's tough. This is where traders, get in tough situations. Wow, Cleanspark. Sparky Spark's doing well. 1330. Can we get through 1350, dude? We need to get through 1350 on Cleanspark. 1350, we win. No 1350, we lose. 1350, we win. So we got to see if we can get through 1350. Cleanspark's breaking out of a squeeze. What's the short float on Cleanspark? Let me check right now. What's the short float? What's the short float? Okay. Let me check. I think it's like what? 5%? Cleanspark short float. It's 9.5. Wow, 10% is shorted. 10% is short. That actually, I think that could do for a squeeze. That could do a little squeeze on Cleanspark. That could definitely happen. And how many shares do they have outstanding? How many shares? They have, so there's 18 million shares shorted. There's 196 million shares. Huh. It's not the smallest float, but it's definitely not, a huge float. And dude, I love their management. Their management was exceptional yesterday on their call. That was a hell of a way to do the call. That was a way to do a call, dude. Their call was great. I loved it. I love their call. Cleanspark options are in the money. We are green on those. We are green. So I was talking to my boy today about should we sell Cleanspark? Okay, because my boy has options as well. Oh, Chris, I was just about to talk about this. So yeah, did you exit your options? So I still have my options. I feel like I want to sell half of them, to be honest, because it's a bet on PayPal. But I don't know. I mean, it's a bet on PayPal. It's a fuck PayPal, dude. It's a bet on Bitcoin. And I just don't know where the hell Bitcoin's going, dude. I think Bitcoin's going to go up. And if Bitcoin goes up, I will make a decent amount of money on Cleanspark. But if it sits around, it's going to be dead money. Oh, Google options are green. Let me show you Google options. Google's breaking out a little bit. Those are up $2,000. I bought one of these at 139. So I have 9 of these. I had 8 of these. I bought the dip, lowered the average on these. Google's getting close to where it was right before earnings. So Google's that was a good buy, at least on the dip. We'll see if it lasts, but Google's there. Amit, do you have BTC? A little bit, but not anything meaningful, to be honest. Palantir 2358, Bitcoin 47,361, Cleanspark 13. The Robinhood options did not fill yet. We did not get that 10 grand back from the market. We're going to see. I don't want to lower the price, dude. I want to get a good price on these. These should fill at the price I want them at. We should get there. Honestly, I'm going to let this stay because by power hour, if there's a little bit of momentum, they should fill. We should get the 10 grand back. Cleanspark, we'll see, dude. Cleanspark, we'll see. Did you see that ARK Invest started a relationship with SoFi? Let me say this. If you are buying that stupid ARK venture fund on SoFi, you've got some issues, okay? If you actually think that you're going to get access to the most elusive private companies in the world in some stupid VC fund ARK is democratizing to investors on SoFi, I don't want to say it, but that is not a good idea, in my opinion. Okay. Private companies are very risky. And I doubt ARK has Stripe at a really good price in their fucking VC fund. Okay. The Stripe shares they're so hard to get on the secondaries. You imagine ARK's going to have dude, you don't have no understanding of those private companies. You don't know what their valuations are. It's all a mess. And quite frankly, people that buy it on SoFi are going to hate SoFi when they get screwed on that ARK venture fund. So to me, I'm not buying it on that. But yeah, that relationship with SoFi to me is kind of stupid. Now, them buying SoFi stock is fine. But that whole thing that's bullish for SoFi, that's not bullish for SoFi, dude. Anyone who wants to democratize access to private companies for retail people, the only way you do that is if you actually know someone in those companies. You don't do that through some random fund, and you definitely don't do that when the valuations are probably at Series D or Series E. You're not getting in the pre-seed stage, the Series A. At least I don't think so. And if you are, I wonder what companies they're actually including in that fund. So for anyone saying that's super awesome, it's no, it's not. Getting access to those companies is not easy, dude. And I don't know what companies ARK actually has or what. In fact, let's Google it. What prices is she trying to get there? Oh, we got to do the Kramer post. Thank you, Charlie Munger. Rest in peace, Charlie Munger, to saying this. I got to show you guys this post. I didn't show you guys this post. So this is what I saw last night. So I looked up Robinhood stock because no one's making videos about it, and I need someone to make videos, and I was trying to get some coverage. That's why I was going through the fucking appendix last night on their earnings. And this is what I came across from 2 weeks ago. Someone asks Kramer about Robinhood. Here's what he has to say, and I want you to watch closely the background of his screen in his video. Here's what he has to say.
Hey, Jim, big booyah from the great state of Pennsylvania. Thank you for taking my call.
Sure.
Anyway, with earnings being announced on February 13th and expected to grow 40% for the current year, stock closed down over 18% today of a year high of 1351. I wonder your opinion on ticker HOOD, Robinhood Market.
I think they have too much exposure to options for the customers and Bitcoin for the customers. I need them to get a better base of customers. I suggest you go buy Schwab. Let's go to Mitch in Illinois.
Okay, so first of all, I don't know what it means that you have too much exposure to options in Bitcoin. Like, I don't even know what that means. Is he trying to say they have too many speculators or traders? Like, I literally don't know what too much exposure. You want more exposure. Like, what are you talking about? I don't know what that means. Then he says, I suggest you buy Schwab. And then look at who the show is sponsored by behind Mr. Jim Cramer, Schwab Trading. I mean, I saw this last night and I was just like, dude, you cannot trust these guys. How can we trust he actually thinks you should buy Schwab, which if you look at Schwab's, performance, it hasn't been that amazing either, when the whole show is the bills are being paid by Schwab. I mean, at some level, you're kind of just like, this is why people go to YouTube. This is why people, go to independent thinkers, because it's just so hard to trust. Like, I really saw that last night. And I was like, what? He's saying go to Schwab? First of all, that didn't make any sense to me. But second of all, I was like, the show is sponsored by Schwab. Of course he can't say go to Robinhood, because Schwab will get mad at him. They might pull some funding. So, it's very interesting to see kind of how that plays out. Guys, we really sold the Palantir options at a good time. We really did. We really did, because we got out basically at the right. Let me check where those options are right now. Maybe they're higher because of the volatility, but let me check where those options are. Those options on Palantir that we got out of, we did January 2026. We did an aggressive option too, dude. We did a freaking aggressive option. We did 30 and 35. I bought this in December. Yeah, those options are about 10% lower right now. So maybe they would have filled, but we definitely got out. I mean, we got out at what, 24.50. It's at 23.89. The volatility on the option, but we did get them 10% higher, so that's not too bad. So yeah, that is what we see on the chat. Has perfect timing today, legitimately. DJ, can you DM me on Twitter? Yes, please DM me on Twitter. I'll send it to you on Twitter. Yeah, 100% DM me there. Amit is right once again. Palantir is correcting today. Okay, so it wasn't that crazy to be right. I think I don't even want to take credit for being quote unquote right. Like, we kind of knew this thing had run up a lot, and it's a Friday, right? So yeah. Now, granted, I would love it to make its way to 25, but remember, there's people that are this is the psychological imbalance, right? Now you kind of feel like a schmuck if you bought it at 24, and you might take your losses, which is more sell side pressure. The volume is still 74 million, so we gained 20 million more shares in volume. Volume's not an issue, but there's just too many sellers versus buyers. On top of that, what if this is not the dip? What if, this was just the continuing to go on the downside, and now you feel you're going to wait? It's such a game of musical chairs with these stocks during these runs. Now we're fighting for 24. So we'll see. We'll see where it goes. Seems like you're trying to free up some cash right now. I mean, the thing is, it's not just about freeing up cash. I'm genuinely afraid of market sentiment around fintech. Guys, after a firm put up those numbers, Max Levchin, he was on CNBC, and the lady was like, so what do you think about the stock? And he was stuttering. He was just like, I don't know, because he was just like, it was almost kind of like, I don't know what you want us to do anymore. Like, we put up phenomenal numbers. Like, maybe there's some things here and there, but like, this is no reason. A firm was down 20% at one point, and then it finally recovered, but there was no reason for it to be down that much. So, I mean, we'll see. We'll see. But I'm afraid of fintech, and Robinhood, as bullish as I am, I just don't know if they're going to be able to navigate fintech. I don't know. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I don't know if this Robinhood is going to fill. We're going to reduce the price even more, but we're going to do 5,000. We're going to do it in chunks. So we're going to take off 5,000, not 10,000, and we'll try to get the other 5 at a higher price later. So let's do 5,000 at this price, and let's see if it fills. Let's see if it fills. All right, so we're doing a lower price, $5,000. Let's see if it fills. Okay, I placed the order. It's 4,700, not really 5,000, but let's see. Let's see if we can get it in chunks. Maybe we'll do the rest after in a little bit. Because I think we got to take some exposure off, dude. I think we got to take some exposure off. I think we got to. Market sentiment around fintech has been bad for a while. Yeah, but it's not been bad around Robinhood. That's the thing. Robinhood's been okay. And that's why I'm just like, Robinhood is not really a traditional fintech. It moves with a little bit more with crypto, right? So Robinhood just operates in a different world, but I still don't trust the market. I just don't know. I mean, we can free up a lot more, dude. We can free up some more. I'm looking at a bunch of different options I have, and we can free up more. Affirm numbers were not that good. They were not that good, but they beat on all the top line numbers. Guidance was but they beat on revenue for guidance. So I'm not saying it was amazing, but I'm down 20%, dude. And also Affirm went up 10% for a little bit, and then it came back down. And no one clipped me doing that, but that was you know, that was funny. If that happened at the same time, that would have been sad to see. But let's see. Oh, by the way, did you guys see Dave Portnoy wants to get into Palantir? He tweeted yesterday, should I get into Palantir? If Dave Portnoy gets into Palantir, that'll be just fucking hilarious, dude. Dave Portnoy just has his army of millions of supporters buy whatever the hell he buys. He doesn't give a shit, dude. He's just like, is it fun to buy it? Okay, let's buy it. And then millions of people blindly follow him. And it's very funny. But not sure if he's gonna get into it. Let's see what else we can watch. I kind of want to get some updates on regional banks. I think that's important to talk about right now. It's definitely not bad. Let me pull up a couple things. Let's look at Bloomberg. What is Bloomberg saying? By the way, what did everyone eat for breakfast? I had a latte. What did you guys eat for breakfast? What did you guys eat for good old breakfast? Where are we at? 23.95? Yeah, it's fighting for 24, dude. It's fighting. Amit, do you have any analysis for SoFi? Maybe I missed it. I like SoFi, but it's a bank, and the street sentiment around banks are not good. So I personally am not buying the dip on SoFi. Long term, probably will be fine. Short term, banks are getting hit. And if banks are getting hit, I would be a little afraid of banks right now. Okay, here's what we're going to do on Robinhood. We're going to sell another half of the position in the Roth IRA. We're going to sell half the position. I don't want to, but we're going to do it. We're going to be responsible. Here we go. We're going to put in the order. Let's see if it fills. Don't know if it'll fill, but let's see. We're doing it. We put in the order. All right, now it's in the hands of the options gods. We'll see if it fills. We're going to de-risk ourselves going into next week. We're going to de-risk. We're going to de-risk. We got to de-risk, guys. I'd rather de-risk than see Robinhood tank because they have one metric that the street doesn't like, and then they're just like, fuck it. It's a dying brokerage. Like, I don't think that's going to happen, but we're going to de-risk. We're going to de-risk. It's the stupid responsible thing to do here. I wouldn't have done this if Affirm had good if Affirm did well yesterday, but Affirm did horrible in terms of their stock action. How bad is Affirm right now? Yeah, down 10%, dude. They don't deserve to be down 10%. PayPal's only up because they can't be shorted today, but PayPal didn't deserve to be down 12%, you know? So I think we got to de-risk just a little right now. Just a little. Just a little. Oatmeal with blueberries, water and coffee. I fast until 1 p.m. I love it. That's awesome. That's awesome. Coffee, 3 cups in. Damn, 3 cups of coffee? I've got to learn how to drink coffee, dude. Eric, you're going to be going to the John pretty soon. 3 cups of coffee. Fasting Friday. I love it. Pancake, water. Wow, you guys are healthy. We got some healthy people in the chat. We got nice fastings. Is Hood earnings after CPI? Do we get CPI next week? Holy crap. Do we get CPI next week? I think we do. Oh my God. Hood's earnings are on CPI day. Oh shit. That changes some perspectives I have. Because if that CPI is good, if that CPI is good, the whole market, and that CPI just got revised today. Remember, today the market went up because CPI got revised from 3.4 to 3.3. If CPI is good, Robinhood should... It's still complicated, dude, though. It's still fucking fintech. Bitcoin 47.3. Where's Cleanspark? Damn, Cleanspark. It can't get past 13, dude. Cleanspark needs to try to get past 13. It's just not getting past 13. It's not getting past 13. That's the problem on Cleanspark. That's the issue with Cleanspark. We must de-risk. CPI. We still have to de-risk, but CPI, if that's good, dude, that's going to be good for Rob. It's going to be good for the whole market. And I don't think CPI is going to come in hot. I think it's going to come in probably 3.1 or at least 3%. It's still risky either way, yeah. But we'll still de-risk. We'll still fucking de-risk. We put in the orders. They just need to come out now. They just need to come out. All right, here, let's reduce the dollar by another dollar, and let's see if it reduces. Let's see. Okay, so we're going to sell half of my Roth IRA position. Let's do it right now. Will it get filled? It's probably going to get filled. Fuck it, let's do it, dude. We got to de-risk. We got to do this stupid de-risking fucking risk management bullshit. Sell half. All right, here we go. We're going to do it. We're going to do it. We're going to be responsible. It should fill. It should fill. Oh, wow. This one didn't fill. Let's see if this one, I put in a lower price. I think it should fill. Let's see. I thought it would fill at that price. It'll probably fill. I feel like it'll fill. All right, we did it. Covered calls. I don't have shares, Nicholas. I have options, dude. I don't have shares. So that's why I'm saying we really have to de-risk, because these are options. These aren't shares. If they were shares, of course I'd do cover calls, but I can't do that here. SoFi 820, S&P 499. Where's Palantir? Where's Palantir? 24. Wow, Palantir's still holding up, dude. Palantir is still holding up. Palantir is still holding up. Sell hood intraday on Tuesday. That's not a horrible idea, but it's not a horrible idea. But it's up today, and that's why I'm thinking like maybe I take what the market's giving me today. Maybe I take it. Maybe I take it. Nicholas says, "Oh, F that then." Who are you and what have you done with the MIT? Philip, I don't want to sell. I want to make money. But we have to do this stupid risk mitigation thing that people do in the markets in order to protect their money. Whatever, dude. Whatever. You got to do it. Who hurt you, PayPal? Yeah, PayPal and Affirm destroyed me, dude. They absolutely destroyed me right now. I don't understand if you're de-risking if they expire in 2026. The market has nothing to do with the overall future if you believe they'll do good long term. Yes, Benny, but there's an opportunity cost to your money. Let's say Robinhood tanks. Yes, I have 2 years for them to do well, but if they tank, I'm down thousands of dollars, and now I literally can't sell. That money is dead money. And if there's a better opportunity and that money's dead because the narrative on fintech is shit, even if I have time to not lose in 2 years, in the short term, my money's gone. It's not, and it's probably not coming back anytime soon until the narrative changes. And I don't know when that narrative changes. So that's why we're doing this stupid de-risking. We have to clip this and show you when Hood goes up. The thing is, I still have a lot of Robinhood, guys. I have a lot of Robinhood. So I don't really care. I'll make money if it goes up. It just won't be like crazy money if it goes up. That's why, but I think we have to. I think we have to, dude. It's because I'd rather do this than see that shit crash. And I from the bottom of my soul, which isn't really an investment thesis, but I don't believe that Robinhood's going to crash. I believe that everything I've done in terms of due diligence will lead to a very successful earnings pump. But then again, I don't fucking know. I thought that was the same for PayPal, and then obviously it crashed. All right, Jeremy, you got to go. Thank you for being here, dude. Thank you for being here. It's a Roth IRA. Why do anything but S&P if you're so young? Save the single stock moves for brokerage. Well, that's the benefit of options in the Roth IRA. You can, move your money quicker and you get to have tax free on your options, right? That's why it's more fun. But yeah, I mean, overall, you are right. One stock is better, probably long term. Alien Explorers Earth says, "What do you think of PayPal calls?" I think PayPal calls are great at this price, quite frankly. I think PayPal's stupid. I think PayPal's absolutely stupid at this valuation. Doesn't make any sense to me. I have PayPal calls If it gets to $90, I'm going to make some good money. If it gets to 125 by close to the summer, I'll make about 50 grand. But if it, now it seems like that's impossible. But here's the one thing I want to say about PayPal. The people who bought Meta at 88, the thesis is the same as PayPal. It was under freaking valued. I don't care if Meta is a different company. At the end of the day, it was egregiously undervalued. Okay. PayPal's market cap is almost similar to Palantir's market cap. PayPal does 30 billion in revenue, Palantir, and 4 billion in profits. Palantir does 2 billion in revenue and 200 million in profits. They have the same market cap. That's how ridiculous this is. Facebook's market cap was 200 billion. They were doing 130 billion in revenue. It was stupid in November 2022, but it was really hard to buy it. It didn't feel good buying it. So the same thing with PayPal. If you make money on PayPal, it's because you deserve to, because it doesn't feel good buying this stock. Look, I know PayPal's not the same company as Meta. I understand. But the narrative around everyone said Meta was AOL. Go back and watch those clips. Jim Cramer was crying on TV. Okay. Everyone thought TikTok was stealing their lunch. By the way, Zucks was losing 70 billion a year. Almost half their market cap a year on Reality Labs. To say that the narrative wasn't as bad on Meta is a little short-sighted. You're forgetting how bad it was. But the people who bought went against what everyone said because it was undervalued. PayPal's undervalued. Yeah, maybe it's not going to do a 5x like Meta because it's not a fucking like advertising giant. But for them to not be $100 a share in the next year or two, it's insanity in my opinion if they just keep executing. So also they got upgrades the past couple of days. They got a bunch of upgrades. So yeah, I think it hurts to buy PayPal, but that's kind of the point. It hurts to buy PayPal, and it should hurt to buy PayPal because that means you deserve to get the gains when PayPal goes up. So those are my thoughts on ultimately what's happening with PayPal. The opportunity cost argument is kind of whack to me. If you were to sell and buy something else, there's opportunity cost there. If you sell and hold cash, there's opportunity cost there. Yeah, but again, it's not just opportunity cost, Peyton. It's if Robinhood tanks, these are options. I lose a lot of money, on paper. And so to me, it's not just an opportunity cost. It's not just shares, it's options. And so the loss is magnified in the short term more than just having shares. And that's why I'm also thinking I need to de-risk a little bit. The orders haven't filled yet, so I don't know if I'll get to de-risk. I'll let you guys know if they do, but so far they have not filled, and we're going to see if they end up de-risking or not. PayPal can start buybacks on Monday. Yeah, dude, I think PayPal's going to pull a Google. PayPal's down 10%. Google was down 10%. Now Google's only down like 1% from earnings high. I think PayPal's going to pull a Google. I just don't know when. Yeah, it hit 150 today. Look at that. It was 152 right before earnings. It hit 150. Then it fell to 139. Like, that was stupid. Google had no reason to fall. The numbers were great. The earnings call sucked. It seems like the exact same thing with PayPal. Bitcoin, 47,000. Enphase, 120. Cloudflare, 21%. NVIDIA, 715. PayPal, 57.67. Oh, where's Palantir? Palantir still 24? 24.12 on Palantir. 24.12 on Palantir. Why don't you just hedge weeklies at the moment with at the money puts? Well, so here's the thing about hedging with weeklies. I feel like if I mean, look, it's not a horrible thing, but the thing about buying puts is that you're literally just giving away money, right? And I know the gains should offset the money you're losing. That kind of technically makes sense. That is proper hedging. I don't know. I guess I never thought about it like that. I kind of just like take some, I kind of like just having the cash there versus like giving cash away and de-risking that way. I kind of just like having the cash, but I've never really done it. Maybe I should try to do it next time on a different position. Palantir 24.13. So they're still buyers. Let me look at the book value or the book volume on Palantir. At 25, waiting for us to be sold are now 75,000 shares. So 25 is going to be tough, guys. 25 is going to be really tough. It's going to have to do some pretty good momentum to get to 25. It's probably not. I mean, look, it's going to take a while for that to happen. It's going to take a while for that to happen. It's going to need some buy some. Also, we're heading into lunch in 30 minutes as well. So that lunch. My target price for Robinhood is $20 end of year. That's my target price. I think it happens. But it depends on a lot of things happening as well. So, and then in the short term, there can be a lot of pain there can be a decent amount of pain in the short term if that happens. Okay, so I think here's what we're going to do. Okay, here's what we're going to do. So this Robinhood option is definitely not filling. Let me move it down 1 more cent in the Roth. We're going to do a 1 more cent, and I think that's going to get us the fill. 1 more cent. Yeah, that'll probably get us the fill. All right, here we go. This is going to get us the fill. We're going to de-risk this bad boy. We're going to get it lower. And we're going to fill. We're going to launch it, and it has partially been filled. That was so anticlimactic, dude. 1 contract got filled. 1 out of the lot that I sold got filled. Dude, the market doesn't want to give these up. This is kind of making me bullish. The market's kind of making me bullish. The market doesn't want to give up these contracts. Damn, dude. How did 1 get filled out of the rest? This is so annoying, dude. They're really... Look, I'm not selling lower than this price, so they can get the hell. I'm not doing that. They better. If that one doesn't fill, then fuck it. We're going down with this ship. This is just pride at this point. This is fucking pride. I'm surprised you're afraid of earnings with such great DD on Hood. Yeah, I'm afraid of fintech, dude. I really am. These numbers on Affirm and PayPal are so damn good. There's no reason the street should be tanking them, and they're just tanking them like it's no problem. So to me, there's a little bit of fear that's happening there. A little bit of fear. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Amit, what's for lunch? Nothing today, even though we're probably going to end out. Where are we at on Palantir? 2 more of the contracts got sold. We got 2 of them now. We got 2 of them sold. What is it? Where's Palantir? 2402. All right, guys. I think we're stuck at 24. I feel like that's it. I'll be back for market close. So I'll be back in about 4 hours. That's not too crazy. But yeah, 24 seems to be where we're stuck. It looks like we're probably just going to be playing at 24. We've got the $2,000 we freed up from selling out the options. You guys did a great job with telling me to buy and sell those and sell the options, not buy the stock. And that'll be deployed next week or the week after. I'll just ask a poll whenever we think the price is right, and you guys will determine if we buy it or if we hold it. Noodle Sway says, "Don't leave, dude." I don't want to leave, but I think we need to. We did word of the day. It's discombobulate. It's discombobulate. We'll be back. We'll be back end of day. We'll be back. We're gonna do 3:45 to 5. We'll do market close. Then probably 7 to 8, I'll have a semiconductor podcast called Chip Chat with my boy Jose. And then after that, we will do Palantir Weekly tonight. So we'll do Palantir Weekly. And that's it. So, all right, good stuff. We are out of here. I'm loving the live streams. I'm not going to lie, dude. We started from 9:20 to 10 a.m. every day for like a year. Then in September, almost 5 months ago, I said, let's start at 8:45 and go till 10. And now I'm kind of thinking maybe we do 8:45 till 11:45 and just make this a 3-hour extravaganza. Like maybe that's just what we fucking do, dude. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it. I'll see you guys in a couple hours for the market close. Please make sure if you're not on Twitter, follow me on Twitter. Twitter is where we get a lot of the breaking news. I have a lot of tweets. We'll be doing that. We did word of the day. It's discombobulate. Palantir right now, $23.99, struggling to hold that $24. Make sure to follow on Twitter. Make sure to check out Steven's article as well. Phenomenal article by our boy Steve. Let's get him trending #1 on Palantir. Give the article a like. And we'll be back at 3:45. This has been a fun week. I've loved every fucking second of it. Palantir's up 50%. We're doing it. Like the stream, subscribe. I love you all. And we're going to see you at 3:45. Bye, everyone. Have a good one. See you in a bit.